chaoticradio.com.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Kinda Gaming Show. Very first time on chaoticradio.com. I am here with some very lovely people. Why doesn't everybody introduce themselves?
Go ahead, Mr. Co-host.
You're in the co-host chair.
All right. Well, my name is Brandon. That's me.
All right.
I guess I'll go next. I'm Connor. What's up, everybody?
Hey, I'm Miguel.
All right, cool. So, Kinda Gaming, we have a very special guest on tonight with us. His name is Bryan Baker from Screwattack and Screwattack. Let's go ahead and bring him on in.
Let him know.
Hey, Bryan, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing all right. How you guys doing this evening? I appreciate the Tiger Army opening.
Thank you. That was
There you go.
my suggestion.
Yeah, that was totally Brandon's suggestion. So, before we get started, I have a little story. Last time I talked to Bryan on a podcast or a radio shows for the Overshield, which Connor was briefly on the Overshield with me. It's been a long time, and the technology is upgraded. Back when you were on the show last time with us, if I remember, we had to, all of us had to record our Audacity on our own, and then we had to edit it all together. And that was like a 3-hour process where you were just hanging out with us talking complete bullshit.
Were you using OneDrive?
No, we weren't even using OneDrive. He just sent us his file over Skype.
Wow.
So, so to have you on the radio now is just a huge improvement. So it's super cool. So what have you been up to these days, man? What have you been up to these days? You're with Screwattack now. No longer.
Give it a fun update on that. Back in about 3 months ago now, I moved down to Austin as a Screwattack guy to actually work at Rooster in their broadcast department now.
Oh, that's very cool, man.
Very cool.
How are you enjoying that so far?
It's been a trip, partially because so the department I'm in now, it's as big as Screwattack ever. It might be bigger than Screwattack ever was, like in person. When I was a part of it.
Interesting.
So, like, I mean, when I was doing all of the streaming for Screwattack and Screwattack, that was like a one-man band situation, and now it's a whole crew, which is it's not taking a little bit used to kind of going back to work with like an actual team and not just having to do everything myself.
So,
That takes things. I've enjoyed it.
so yeah, do you have like underlings under you now? Do you actually get to tell people what to do? Are you the boss, Bryan?
I wouldn't say I'm the boss. Like, you know, when you work on a crew, whether it's radio or TV or internet these days, there is a hierarchy. But I mean, you also, you know, it's a team effort. You have to work together.
Dude, don't worry, they're not listening.
I don't really, whenever I am directing shows, I don't really like crack the whip or anything. I try to, you know, serve for make a good show happen.
So I guess the most important question: what's the beard situation going on?
Well, there's a beard situation.
Because Bryan had the best beard at Screwattack,
Oh.
and so I'm just wondering, did that follow you to Rooster Teeth?
I get massive beard envy.
Like there's I guess one guy in our department who I have some catching up to do, but even he's not like the biggest beard in the building.
So by catching up, you mean killing him.
There watching the Rooster content. There's a guy by the name of App Ellis who has, I mean, he would be a Viking in another age. He's that big, he's got the beard.
That's awesome.
Super.
Uh. I mean, that's like a power play. I think he's in that, so people will treat him like normal, and then when he gets out of the thing, it's like, yeah, look who you're fucking with.
So what you been playing lately, man? Yeah, have you been playing anything for fun, or has Rooster Teeth taken up all your time recently?
I have time for games. I mean, kind of the biggest shift for me coming down here was I have my Wednesday nights like to myself again after working on a double talk with Screwattack Information for
Nice.
But yeah, I tried to play a player-known battleground.
Hey,
Nice.
I'm bad when it comes to games that involve shooting people in one-on-one scenarios. Like in like an Overwatch.
Oh.
For a reason.
Mercy Rain, right?
Yeah, Mercy Lucio. Zenyatta's my robot.
Zen, yeah, buddy. Zenyatta's my main.
Of like the character profiles, Zenyatta's my favorite.
Hell yeah.
Next, PUBG, Overwatch, a lot of Rocket League last couple of years now. Rocket League is definitely like my pickup and go-to game.
Also, I don't play any of those.
You're
so
missing out.
Yeah, you're missing
You're missing out on Overwatch.
Me and Connor pour like 6 hours a night into PUBG.
We share lives, yes.
See, I'm not like nearly good enough to even like think about wanting to spend that much time in that game.
You don't gotta be. You don't gotta be good. You just.
I'm usually like 2 or 3 games in a session. I'm like, all right, I got my butt kicked. I can move on.
Sometimes rounds in that game though, they last like
It wasn't just beautiful right off the bat.
No, it's a good game. It is pretty.
Well,
Oh my
not
sweet
necessarily.
Jesus.
Yeah.
But the second one is the one that made the farthest in, which I hear is kind of weird because that one's unfair.
Yeah, that's surprising because it was super unbalanced in the beginning.
Yeah, like I actually beat like 3 of the bosses in Dark Souls 2, but I couldn't.
A lot more damage to bosses in Dark Souls 2.
Maybe that's why.
Yeah, it's a little
maybe
unfair,
I just got lucky.
Well, I don't know. Because that's still the hardest one for me, just because the mechanics feel completely different.
Mm-hmm. And the agility thing, like starting off with nerfed rolls, makes it super hard in the beginning.
Yeah, thanks. It's a cool game. I can't even joke about it. It's not. I hate it so much.
Oh my god.
It's so interesting. I want to know, like...
It's the worst of the series, but it's not bad.
The story's bad, the dialogue's bad, the characters suck.
Damn.
Level design is bad,
Characters
character
suck.
placement sucks. I mean, there's...
It's because there's no whatever the fuck family?
No. That's only one tiny little quest line. You don't even have to do it. No.
Nobody in Katarina.
I think Miyazaki, his touch just adds a bit of magic that makes it perfect.
It's definitely the worst of the series. You can tell what's missing from it, but it's also like I don't understand what you hate about it.
I mean, I just said what I hate about it. I don't really have to go much.
That's true. That is
just my opinion. You know, I know a lot of people
Fair
do love it, and that's where I have to give it credit because Dark Souls 1, Demon Souls didn't get too much attention until Dark Souls 2 came out, and then that difficulty level spurred everybody to stream on the internet. And then all of a sudden, boom.
Well, I think Dark Souls 1 kicked that off, actually. Because Demon Souls was definitely a dark horse. Nobody knew about it.
It's true.
It was funny. I was the weird guy who played Demon Souls.
I love Demon
haven't
Souls,
played Dark
dude.
Souls, though.
Well,
that's the funny bit.
you're a person that's into RPGs. So
Yeah.
when Demon Souls came
I-
out,
and I
you were
also
like,
like
oh,
Atlas.
a new RPG.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I played Demon Souls also. I remember Ryan Boring and Ryan Carey.
I don't think you need to give their...
I don't know why I said that. Just have it. But they were playing it one weekend. Demon Souls. They had it. They rented it for the weekend or
Give their
something.
addresses too?
Yeah, sure, man. So their addresses are no. So they're playing it, and they beat it in 48 hours. The first Demon Souls, they beat it in like one weekend.
Pretty sure.
And I came over and they're like, "Hey, man, do you want to play this game?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And I just instantly died. And then I got up and I didn't realize they didn't tell me like the systems of it yet, how you lose stuff. So I was like, "Oh yeah, this is like Bayonetta or whatever." So I just get up and I run up and go again, and I instantly lose all their souls without grabbing anything. And then I wasn't allowed to play it anymore.
Jeez.
They were just very upset with me.
I've lost 4 million souls at one time. And you know what I did?
Is that all? Okay.
I know. I just went back into the boss fight. I was like, it's not going to stop me. What is it going to do? Stop me from leveling up to level 301?
Yeah, you stopped carrying a point.
Yeah.
I think what's funny about Demon Souls though is you play the whole game with half health.
Yeah.
It's like you beat a boss to get to full. And honestly, though, you might as well just call it double health.
It's best to think of it as you're not playing at half health,
Yeah.
but you just have opportunities to get double health.
Yeah.
It's like that with the other ones, though. If you're not embered up in Dark Souls 3, you're like a quarter health down. Kind of
Yeah,
thing.
you're a little nerfed.
Bloodborne's the only one that's kind of different.
Yeah, I think
Nice.
because you never beat Demon Souls. You just played it that one time with me when I brought it to your house.
Yeah, I played. Well, no, I played it through also with somebody else, but didn't
afterwards,
finish it.
or-
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
Because I was gonna say the thing about Demon Souls, you can definitely tell it was the first the experimental version of Dark Souls. Like there was just cheap shit in that game. Like, hey, fuck you. Like they're just like you would walk around there was just undodgeable giant balls that would come kill you.
But it's not as bad as Dark Souls 2.
No, I think Demon Souls was actually really good. Like I would even though it was it was really cheap on its kills many times. I still think it was really good.
And the fact that they brought back certain things from that one in Dark Souls 3, like Storm Ruler, I didn't play Demon Souls till after Dark Souls 3. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I hate that sword.
Because you only use it for one boss.
It's dumb.
Same thing as Demon Souls, though. Like you go into this fight and there's a giant flying manta, and you're like, well, how do I kill this thing? Run to the end of the cliff, there's Storm Ruler.
That's the last boss I remember fighting.
Mhm.
In Demon Souls. I don't know how far in that is even.
It depends on where you go, because it's all
'cause you can
portals,
choose.
so you just pick and choose.
So you guys will have to give me context, but when the last DLC came out for Dark Souls 3, I saw this video, and it was this guy just walks over to this bridge, and arrows just
pummel him.
so many arrows come up, and it was this compilation of reaction videos of people dying for the first time
It's
against
hilarious.
that, and they were just like,
hilarious.
what, And what is the context of that? How does one even survive?
Well, I mean, it makes it pretty obvious there are barriers.
Okay.
So, I mean, yeah, I died on it like 3 times because that's usually when I learn my lesson. Because, if you're staying in one place, you're obviously going to die. The part that was bullshit before they patched it was you can be sitting at the bonfire and still get hit. So, luckily, they fixed that real quick. So, but yeah, you just look really quick, like, oh, okay, there's some barriers. Run to the barriers. If the first one doesn't block the arrows, go to the next one.
That's like that's like the dragon on the bridge in Demon Souls.
Yeah.
Where it's like you actually have to chase the dragon. That's like if you try to outrun it or anything, you're just gonna burn with everything else.
And it does that in Dark Souls 1, like at the very beginning. Like I remember talking to a guy, I recommended Dark Souls 1 when I was working at GameStop, and he came back and returned it like 3 days later. I was like, I'm gonna get past the dragon on the bridge. I'm like, well, did you try going the other way? He goes, no, because I thought that was the way I was supposed to go. Yeah, exactly. Just look around. Be observant. It's not that difficult.
It seems like Dark Souls.
Or you do that and get that Drake sword.
Exactly.
Yeah. See, that's definitely something I appreciate about it. Like, even though I haven't played Dark Souls, and I really should, is that it's not a hand-holding game. It lets you think for yourself.
That's what I appreciate.
Yeah.
I appreciate it very much because tutorials are the one thing I hate most in
Mega
games.
Man!
You see your sword.
No.
Press B to jump.
Can't stand it.
It was because most of the time tutorials, they just don't do anything.
There's no context. It tells you what to do before you need to do it.
Exactly.
So it's like, well, why do I know I need to do this yet?
The best tutorial I've ever seen in a game is Mega Man X. Because it not only does it tell you what to do, but then it puts you in a situation where it lets you figure it out for yourself. I guess it doesn't even tell you what to do. It just lets you figure it out for yourself. Like when you have to learn you can jump off the walls.
It's the entire first mission. The
exactly.
entire first mission is the tutorial, and it's wonderful.
Exactly, and it's so great. And when that first boss fight you have, you realize how weak you are, and it just makes later in the game so gratifying when you beat him.
Yes.
X is a fantastic game.
Yeah, that's very good.
Among Mega Man 2.
Yeah,
That's my favorite.
Mega Man 2.
Connor managed to snag a pre-order of the Super Nintendo Classic Edition.
Yeah. Ooh.
So I'm basically going to be at his house 24/7 playing Mega Man X.
Yeah. Yeah, so I got it the first time when Walmart leaked it earlier this month, and then that got canceled. And I was like, are you serious? I don't have the the resolve to be like, oh, I'm all good, and then just barely got it on the Best Buy pre-order, and it was crazy how fast they went. So
that's how you have to do it.
That's one way to do it. Now mine is a weird story because I follow tons of people on Twitter and the Discord channels and tons of Facebook posts, and the place that got it to me first was PlayStation Vita and PSP collectors.
Interesting.
Like not the Nintendo pages, not the actual hey, here's everything, here's the Super Nintendo pages. It was the PlayStation Vita fan page, and the first thing I thought was, why is this here? And
Sony is perfect.
Yeah, and that's what everyone in the comments was like, this isn't PlayStation related, and then a bunch of people were like, oh, thank you, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I barely got it, and it went so fast that I ordered it, sent the link to my friend, and then she was like, oh, it's gone.
So I remember in one of the, I don't remember what video it was, because Game Attack and Screwattack put out a lot of content, but Craig at one point, he just said when he bought his NES Classic, he just went to Walmart at noon and had no problem getting one, and that was his same strategy to get the SNES Classic. Is that, what's the, are there just more in Texas? Because out here, there's, none.
Well, what time did he get his NES Classic? Because
he in the video, he said he just walked in Walmart at noon, the day of the release.
Well, they said the same thing about the Switch at, Targets. They would go in at, 3 p.m. and say, hey, I got a Switch. They had a bunch.
Yeah, so here's the weird thing about it. So the NES Classic, it was, people didn't know that it was going to be canceled. And so for a while there was, this little lull period that, yeah, they go away as soon as they come in. But it was, people weren't hunting them. It was okay, we ran into it. And then as soon as Nintendo was like, hey, guys, we're stopping this, it became impossible to get them. And now that people know that the Super Nintendo is going to be limited, I feel like it's going to be worse.
But it's the Super Nintendo.
Yeah, which
You know,
is more
like,
popular.
Exactly.
Yeah. I feel like it's going to be way worse than the NES.
Oh yeah.
Don't
yeah,
worry,
yeah.
they said they're going to make more this time.
But it's okay because they don't have Chrono Trigger.
Like, instead of 5, or like 10.
Yeah,
It doesn't
exactly.
matter, they've got.
Yeah, I don't
No, of
think
course
so.
not. Nintendo
No.
never does.
Like, I feel like Nintendo is just allergic to making money.
Yeah.
Like, all the time. They're never meeting demand no matter what system it is. The Wii, the Switch, they've
Yeah.
ran into problems the entire time.
Well,
Like,
the Wii U, they were okay.
The Wii yeah, the Wii U was totally in stores.
All the time.
I think they said we're gonna make significantly more, and I was like, even if like okay, so let's say they make 20% more, that is significantly more, but it
Yeah.
still won't be enough
No.
at all.
It'll never be enough.
Yeah, I
It's
don't
a
think
Super
I don't think it's gonna be easy to get. I think it's gonna be harder.
I think maybe that's what they're doing. They're trying to avoid overproducing them, so they're like, oh, we have a bunch of Super Nintendo classics now, and then nobody wants anymore because everybody got one.
But I think it's with everything because it happened with Amiibos, like you said, starting with the
Yeah,
Wii,
it still happens.
the
with
NES.
those.
Exactly. It's like they keep everything they produce exclusive. And I think that's kind of smart, but I don't know if it's intentional.
Yeah, well, I think it is. I think they'd rather sell fewer objects or fewer amounts at a higher demand
Yeah,
because they're guaranteed to make those sales.
and they are really high quality items. Like even the Switch is super popular, and look at the lineup of games.
Yeah.
Like it's not even close to the 360 or the Xbox One or the
It's not
PS4.
even close to the N64, which
It's
has
not.
the smallest game library.
Exactly, but
It
it's
is
still
better than the PS4 was at launch. Though.
Oh right,
And they
Oh, yeah.
oh right.
Yeah, it does have a better launch in that sense.
Right.
So.
I'm kind of in the minority here. I liked Knack, which was a
Interesting.
PS4 exclusive launch title.
You're an interesting person.
Yeah, well,
Right, you video game donkey.
Right, thank you.
I'm excited for Knack too. It must have sold well enough that they're making another one.
But
Yeah, but it sold well because no one knew what they were getting.
I mean, when it comes to kids buying games on PS4, like parents trying to buy games for their kids, aren't too many. There's like Rayman, and Knack. Hey, let's throw in Bloodborne. No.
Wait a
There's
second.
not too many. So,
Although there's like many 12-year-olds who have Grand Theft Auto 5.
God,
most of the population of the people that own GTA 5 are 10-year-olds.
Yeah, like I
Yeah.
played it yesterday after like a year and a half hiatus, and it was
Yeah.
like it's all kids still.
All the people are just like, "Hey, man."
Yeah, it was a 12-year-old hacker.
Wonderful.
And they all banged your mom.
Yeah. On screen. It was weird.
Knack sold 1.75 million copies in the world.
Interesting.
Do we applaud that? And
I don't know. I'm kind of shocked by that.
That's a significant number.
That's about how many? What? Say the number.
1.75 million.
Yeah, that's about 1 million more than I expected.
Yeah. I mean, how many PS4s have sold? Not that anyone would
Oh,
know offhand,
I
but
think it's like 60 million.
No, Wait.
Damn.
maybe.
Yeah, it's up there.
Hasn't beat PS2 yet.
Yeah, 60.4 million.
Interesting.
Popped that one up like from a random article I saw.
so I wonder. So Knack, do you think how much percent of those sales do you think were in the first 2 weeks of the PS4 launch?
I'm willing to bet like 94% of them were in the first like 2 hours.
Did they bundle it? Did they have a bundle for that because it was a launch title?
I don't think so.
GameStop definitely had
Do
that
you
whole
think-
like buy the PS4 in this bundle that we're forcing you to buy it.
Well, right.
Well, that's
but I
what
mean,
GameStop's all about, is selling bundles you don't need.
Yeah, like to buy a Switch from GameStop, I think it's like $500.
No,
Is it?
it's the normal price.
They
for
do the normal-
They
300.
have them now.
Well, because I mean, like they were doing it where it's like you can't just buy.
Oh, the
system.
online orders, yes.
Yeah, they're like you have to buy the system plus this extra controller plus this plus that.
Given they were good priced bundles.
Yeah,
Like for everything you got, you're saving like $100.
yeah.
And you
it
kind of
was-
want all
it was-
those things.
You were getting it, yeah. But it's like if you didn't want any of that, you just wanted the system and
If
Zelda.
you want a pro controller, an
Exactly.
extra pair of
Yeah, there was a lot of shit you
Joy-Cons.
didn't want in those.
sometimes.
Okay, yeah, it depends on the bundle, I guess, and who you are as a consumer.
Like I've had the Switch since day one. I still don't have a pro controller because I actually like playing with the detached Joy-Cons.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean I'm probably in the minority there, but I think they're pretty comfortable. I have small hands actually, so that might be.
Yeah, that was my downfall. I tried holding a Joy-Con. I'm like, I can't do this. My
Yeah,
hands are so big.
This dude's like 4 inches taller than me, and your hands are supposed to scale to your height. But I
Yeah.
have bigger hands than him.
I have like paws.
I don't know. I wish the PS4 controller was bigger.
I everyone has their thing. For Super Smash Bros. Brawl, I just played with just a Wiimote. And most people,
One?
yeah, one
Not
just
even a nunchuck.
no, just the Wiimote by
Wow.
itself. And I took it.
Yeah,
I know, right?
Like wow, I played Wiimote nunchuck. That was my preferred style.
You know, I went to a Smash tournament or a Brawl tournament,
So you didn't
and
do very well with that.
well, they wouldn't even let me do it. I was like, everyone else had GameCube controllers, and I was like, hey, can I use the Wiimote that's connected to the TV, you know, for the Wii? And they're just like, no.
They're like, what are you doing?
It's like, what are
Get
you?
out of here.
What are you? No. So I lost in the first round. So like, here's a GameCube controller. Get good. And I'm like, oh,
You're like, I
okay.
did get good, but with that.
Exactly. Like I learned. I don't know what it is. Like just be able to hold the B right here and be able to dodge so close.
Knuckle bump the B.
Exactly. It just
So
it
it's
just
an
it feels
advantage
good.
thing.
I feel like it is. I feel like most
Well, that's why
people,
they don't want you to do it.
I
That
don't think
that
it's
actually is my reasoning for liking not Joy-Con, the Wiimote and the nunchuck is because your fingers are touching like every
See,
button.
Right.
There was
I agree with that.
one person tournament with that setup, but he brought his own Wiimote and nunchuck.
Oh, okay.
They wouldn't let me use theirs.
Oh, that makes sense.
Why wouldn't you bring your own controller? It
Because
was a
I didn't
Smash
know.
Tournament.
I didn't know.
Have you never been to a Smash
No, that was my
tournament?
first one.
Oh.
It was back.
Oh, okay.
I was there, and it was at Anime Expo, but it was like a big tournament. There was a lot of the top 10 players from California there, and I suckered in the #1 Mr. Game & Watch player to be on my team for something. He carried me so hard, like I would not do anything. But it was great.
So that's like the best troll character.
Oh, he was so good with them too. Like he was 2-on-1ing everybody with
Nice.
Game & Watch. It was
Nice.
his name's Paper. Well, his
Screen name is Paper.
exactly. Anyway,
9 did he pull out?
how many what?
9.
Oh, I don't know. I assume a lot.
Doesn't sound a satisfaction.
So we've been watching Smash Wii U, so
Nice,
Okay.
man.
Dude, Smash Wii U has some of the biggest levels. Like they make Castle look small.
I have no experience with it.
It's
I don't
good.
know. I played bits of Brawl, a lot of Melee, but fighting games aren't my thing, so I don't have much input on this.
Unpopular opinion.
those 8-player levels are kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're gigantic.
They're fun though. The mayhem is fun.
I can't get with 8-player matches though. Like it's too much. I don't like. I really only like 1v1s because having someone being able to interfere with what you're trying to do to the other person sucks.
Exactly. No, I agree. 1v1, Final Destination, all the time.
That's only.
I love that. I love that like hate though, where it's like you just got like secret allies or just someone whose goal is to fuck up the 1v1s. Like that's what I've done. Like I'll be Cloud. I'm like, I'm not gonna fight anyone. I'm just gonna go and stealth attack, hit people from behind, and knock them out the stage while they're having a 1v1.
You're a shitbag.
It's fun. Like, Cloud has
You're
the
one of
best
those
like
guys.
go around the whole stage and just end things. Yeah.
So, unpopular opinion.
Game & Watch that neutral beat, just make it bacon.
Yeah.
I'll throw 5 baked bacon.
Right.
Yeah, that was one thing Paper showed me when he was playing. He would knock someone off. He would just be throwing bacon the entire time while they're trying to get back up to the stage. He's just pummeling them with pork product,
There you
and it
go.
was great.
Wow.
Exactly.
That was really good alliteration there.
Oh yeah, well that's
No, Andrew, he said pummeling them with pork product.
There you go.
yeah. Not you, Brian. No, I'm just playing.
I'll take all the credit I can get.
Yeah, right.
Well, so I don't like Super Smash Bros. Melee. I don't think it's a very good game.
You're not human.
Wow.
Okay, so
That's 2 for 2.
It's because you're not
we're
playing
gonna
on
beat
a.
him. We're gonna tar and feather him after
Where's
the
the
show.
Okay.
shovels?
The shovels. Am I gonna get buried?
Yeah.
Oh, at least hit with one.
Hey, he's the host.
the host.
This is my show. I can
Yeah, right?
I can say whatever stupid stuff I want to about any
Go back
game.
to Abzu.
I don't
Have your
like-
Fun.
I don't like the Halo series.
Oh,
I don't.
Wait.
we can stop at
Do you
4.
like
but...
Doom?
Yeah, I like Doom.
Good.
Okay, thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the original
He
Doom
doesn't.
is so good.
Whoa! Which
Wait, you don't
Doom?
like original Doom?
What? Come at me.
The original
Yeah.
one
Or
or
the new
2016? Oh, jeez.
Both.
Ouch, that hurts
Like,
real
I
bad.
I
In a
mean,
musical
to-
sense and game
To
sense.
defend myself, I don't dislike them either. I'm just not interested in them.
It's okay. I hate first-person shooters, but Doom, It's one of my favorites, but it's a
Yeah,
nostalgia thing
that-
because
I don't even think it's like nostalgia. I mean, I play that like on the
well,
radio.
2016, yes,
And-
but
well, even the original, like if we're like loading up for a game or like we're waiting for buddies on my like we're in Discord and we're like I'm sitting there and playing old school
Nice.
Doom. So I actually just started playing Brutal Doom though. Finally,
Nice.
like
Yeah.
I was like delayed it forever. It's amazing though.
Yeah, it is.
Explain what that is. I don't know.
It's a brutal version.
Brutal.
Oh yeah, Brutal Doom's awesome.
Yeah, a lot of people know about it.
It's like one of the most popular mods
Yeah.
around, right?
Yeah, it makes it much more violent. Adds
Faster
metal,
pace.
makes it a bit faster.
But if I were this dude's friend and talked with him every night
Well,
on Discord, I wouldn't know what the fuck Brutal
See,
Doom was. I don't
it was
have any interest in
actually
Doom.
it was actually so popular that Total Biscuit covered it, and he doesn't like mods or something. He doesn't do,
Right.
but he covered Brutal Doom on his channel because it was so good.
Yeah, even like John Romero, one of the co-creators of Doom, he was in a chat with Ryan McCaffrey from IGN, and he's like, if we would have released Brutal Doom back in the day, he's like, I wonder what that would have done. Like he has.
It would have created the SRB.
He was like, well, see, like Doom had a hand in that, and he's like, I think we would have just killed gaming.
But Mortal Kombat was the one that kind of made that.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat
is definitely.
Oh, did you
one.
kind of on the same plane? Did you guys see who they announced for Injustice 2, the DLC?
Which one?
They have a new pack coming out, and Raiden,
Is
Okay.
for Mortal Kombat.
The lightning guy.
yeah, he's gonna be in it. What was that? Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're going to the other end of the
Yeah,
stage, buddy.
and so the second person wasn't as exciting either. At least not to me because I'm not huge into the DC stuff. But he was. I think he's one of the bad guys, and he's like underwater, and he has that gigantic helmet.
what the?
I don't know.
Which one?
He has like just a gigantic helmet, and he looks like a bug. Like his helmet's a bug. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
but-
him. Right, and at the very end, this guy grabs the rocket, and it's Hellboy, and he lights up his cigarette, and he goes.
It's a cigar.
Well, they messed it up. It's a cigarette in the
For
video.
Hellboy?
Yeah,
Oh.
How is he even in there?
He's a guest character.
Yeah.
Do
Oh,
they really?
yeah.
No wonder I love them both so
I was
much.
about to say he's a Dark Horse.
Dark Horse
character
is
for
always-
sure.
Yeah, because they did Star Wars comics, and
Oh, nice.
yeah, Hellboy's been one of my
That's
favorite
it.
comics.
That's an excellent acquisition.
I was gonna say good acquisition on their part. That's exactly what I was gonna say.
I might need to play Injustice 2 now.
That's
Yeah.
dope.
Yeah, so I was like,
I hope he's good.
that was the best.
Yeah,
I mean,
Mortal Kombat's good at balancing.
yeah, they're pretty good. Like I haven't been
yes,
this excited for a guest character since Freddy Krueger, and I think Mortal Kombat 10.
They just called Mortal Kombat.
K9.
Yeah, like I don't know because for the first time because that was before Mortal Kombat X, which had like Jason and the alien and all that, right? So they were just like, oh, and by the way, Freddy Krueger. After all these like just Mortal Kombat people.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Freddy Krueger.
Well,
Jason, I just said Jason was in the other one, right? Why didn't they bring Freddy back?
That's true.
Freddy versus Jason, Mortal Kombat style. That would
Maybe they have like an unspoken law in their studio where they ignore the existence of that movie, so it doesn't have an impact on their.
well, they had
I know
Alien
that
and Predator, and those were just as bad.
That's true, huh?
If you just have Alien.
He's like, hold up a second.
Actually, would you even say Freddy vs. Jason was bad?
Well, I mean,
Compared to
everybody.
the other
can enjoy
movies in the
things.
series, right? Yeah.
Yeah, like compared to other stuff, yeah. Oh, hold up.
Right. Yeah. You can't get bad. You can't do worse after Jason X.
That's true.
Is that legit or is that a fan?
I don't know.
No, that's a real one.
For Brian,
I've
Andrew
for a
pulled up a
while.
picture of a Spawn with an Injustice 2 logo.
Oh, yeah.
and that's real?
That's I heard about it when I was back at GameStop, so that was at least 3 months ago.
Oh, okay. So you have like an informed guess.
Guess, yes.
So
That was the song guess.
I guess like a question since we're kind of on the subject, like if you could pick anybody from DC or just a guest character, who would you want to be in the Mortal Kombat universe?
I
Like,
already
who would you
made
want to
that
bring
clear.
in?
Well, they already put Hellboy.
Hellboy. So they fulfilled yours
They already
before,
fulfilled
without
it.
even you knowing.
Exactly.
All right. What about you, Con Man?
Is Constantine in the new one?
I don't think
Oh,
so.
that's yeah.
Yeah, Constantine would be my pick. I was like, I don't think he is in there. So yeah, Constantine's the shit. Like that would be dope.
Maybe like Rorschach?
That'd be.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Dr. Manhattan?
Yeah. Well, no, not Dr. Manhattan.
No, come on.
No, because he's like, if we're gonna take Watchmen, we might as well just throw
Right,
in
just
God.
throw in the best one.
Dr. Manhattan would be like, you were Street Fighter Super 2 Turbo when a duel comes in and kills Spider-Man?
Oh yeah.
Dr. Manhattan coming and killing Shao Kahn.
All he has to do is manipulate reality and cease existence of everybody.
So the problem is it would feel really like shitty,
Either
like,
underpowered
yeah.
or too overpowered.
No, it's like you select Dr. Manhattan, and then the game starts.
Universe
It says press A
collapses.
to pop your opponent.
Yeah, exactly. Just the universe collapses in on itself. You go to Mars, create a castle.
Yeah. Like it becomes Minecraft kind of like you just start building.
Yeah.
Like the game, you're like, wait, what?
Yeah, it's just a whole other game.
Hey, we should make a Watchmen game.
a Watchmen fighting game where
Or not even a fighting game, just a Minecraft game.
did you
So, yeah, a Watchmen Minecraft spinoff.
that would sell 2 copies.
No, it'd be like Minecraft and No Man's Sky.
No Man's Life.
Infinite universe, and you get to create it. Yeah.
There you go.
All right.
For the record, if he's not in there, I really want Static Shock in Injustice 2.
You're the weirdest person, Andrew.
Okay, so legitimate reason, or my reasoning is when growing up, Static was one of my favorite cartoons. Right? I just fell in love with the
It was
character.
Nick Cannon that was the voice, right?
Interesting.
I don't know.
believe so.
Was it a young Nick Cannon?
I think it
Was
was,
he even-
but I'm not like willing to put money on it right now.
Was he even particularly young at that point?
I
Because he
don't.
was already like from Nickelodeon.
Right.
Was it? Well, Nick Cannon was on Nickelodeon, right?
Oh
Yeah.
goodness, that
And
shows.
Static Shock was WB.
Static Shock started 17 years ago. Jesus.
No, it looks like it's Phil
It was
Lamar.
Phil Lamar.
Yeah, because he couldn't
Okay.
do both.
Right. Yeah, that's right. He probably had a contract with Nick at the time.
He was the CEO at one point, wasn't
Who?
he? Nick Cannon?
Of
No.
Nickelodeon?
I don't know.
What?
Not a CEO. I don't know.
That would be recent.
He was definitely one of their like.
He was
voices,
up there.
The only thing recently he's done is break up with Mariah Carey.
Ah.
Or the other way around, actually.
Well, he got back on Wild and Out.
Oh boy, he left America's Got Talent to do Wild Now.
Well, I mean, that's probably.
He has a YouTube show?
Ah.
Nice. It's a way to make it.
Oh boy.
Wild and Out's probably a better like showcase of his talents, though. All he did was like crack one-liners about people on America's Got Talent.
I enjoy America's Got Talent, man. I've been watching
He probably made more
very
money out of it.
consistently since 2 seasons ago.
I'm not bagging on it. I'm just saying him as a role, it was not major in America's Got Talent.
No, but
he wasn't Ryan Seacrest levels.
But let me tell you, after watching this season with Tyra Banks being the host, I miss Nick Cannon. He just, I don't know if it's more of a charm thing, or I don't think Tyra Banks, coming from America's Next Top Model and stuff, I don't know if she's ever done any live hosting before like this on a giant show, and you can kind of tell in some parts because she'll never mind. Oh, whatever. Here's the next act.
Also, she's just a personality, like a model or something, right? She's not a comedian or anything.
No, she's not a comedian. She was like in the top of the. Yeah, she was in the Runway Model. I don't know.
Yeah,
I only know
yeah.
she had a competition show.
Yeah, she had a show named after herself. I think
Just
it's
called Tyra?
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Then you think she would be better at this?
But those aren't live. It's
that's
like-
true. Those
yeah.
are taped in front of an audience.
Yeah, and they do retakes
Oh
and
right,
stuff all the time.
and the
yeah.
studio audiences has to be on her side, right?
Of course.
They're there.
That's why they get
Yeah.
incentives.
They straight up like will like kick people out if they're like
Yeah.
not
But there was you never went to it, but we had the field trip and the radio television group.
Oh, you saw Dr. Phil, didn't you?
Yeah, we went to Dr. Phil,
Oh.
and like they the first time we went because they said business casual, and I was like, all right, and like I wore jeans, but they were nice looking jeans.
Were you wearing a button up?
Yes,
Yeah, that's
and a
close enough.
blazer,
Hey, you're close enough.
and but they were just like, oh, people can't be wearing jeans, and they let us in though.
So just take off your
But-
pants.
Yeah, right. Oh, okay, right there on the spot, just like, oh, if I can't wear jeans, then how about
Business on top, casual on the bottom.
Yeah.
Business casual.
And then they weren't like, and they like put us like
I was
in
gonna
a
say
certain
they-
section that was like not as much on
Oh.
camera.
have to hide your legs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the second time we went there, because the first time we went all without a hitch, it was all one big take. But the funny thing is they have like 2 hours of programming. They condense it, hugely to like I think an hour. And then the second time though, there were points where like, hold up, everyone stop, dial it back 10 or so minutes, and then they did it again. And I was like,
Wow.
oh, what?
Interesting.
You're like, yeah, everything you were just feeling emotionally,
Yeah,
do it again.
You feel all those
Remember.
emotions.
They have Will Smith come out with his like Men in Black.
Yeah,
memory.
I couldn't even imagine.
Yeah.
Right. Like you're just going there and the revelation that this person's leaving you for a horse and you start crying and your world's shattered and then there's like, yeah, but we forgot to turn on the camera or something, whatever the fuck. And there's like, we needed to get that again, so put the horse back, do everything again.
Make sure the horse feels the same emotion.
Yeah. I've never gone to Dr. Phil, but I did go to a taping of Let's Make a Deal with Wayne Brady.
Oh.
That was he was funny. I went as Batman, and you're not allowed to go as like copyrighted characters, so they put a gigantic sticker over the Batman logo that just said "Let's Make a Deal," and it was.
Can you say it like Christian Bale?
Let's make a deal.
Let's make a deal.
Sound like a Lenny from Motorhead.
Yeah.
Hey, don't you mean Remy?
No,
I
it's,
know.
it's like,
Rest in peace, Remy. Is it Lemmy? I always thought it was
yeah,
Remy.
yeah, just not.
What the fuck?
Oh
Who's
man,
this guy? This
Lemmy.
I don't know why. I
That's
don't know
our
why I
host.
thought that.
Yeah, this is our host.
I don't. Yeah.
That's 3 for 3, Andrew.
3 for 3, batting 1,000.
Matter of fact, you lost your show. We're gonna come in every week and do it.
Oh, this is cool.
All right.
So,
So what have you been playing recently, Miguel?
Well, we already outed ourselves as playing way
Oh,
too
that's
much,
right.
Yeah, we
PUBG.
play Pubbage. We haven't been playing
You
Overwatch.
can't call it PUBG. That's a thing we came up with before. There was a nickname for it.
Yeah.
The accepted nomenclature is
Well,
PUBG.
PUBG, that's
now
right,
it's
yeah.
on the internet. So.
Now they call
Good
it,
job.
yeah, everyone calls it PUBG. We've been calling it Pubbage. But, yeah, we play a lot of that. We've been playing Killing Floor. I got you into that, Killing Floor 2.
Oh,
It's really good.
A little
We
bit.
started playing.
We started playing. He hasn't played a whole lot, but that's,
Yeah.
I enjoy it. But, yeah, for me, it's always, like, Doom's on my off time.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I'm not doing, I haven't played the multiplayer in a long time. And then they gave out all the free DLC now. And I went back and they're like, hey, you want to race and start from the beginning? I'm like, yeah, why not? And so-
No, the campaign's definitely much better.
oh, yeah, yeah.
I don't really care for the multiplayer that much, but I don't care for multiplayer in pretty much any game. Like I'll play
Except
like Overwatch. Yeah, I'll play Overwatch.
That's only multiplayer?
Pretty much, well, and
Yeah.
Destiny, but I'm very.
There's
No,
no
aren't
such
you-
thing. If you
aren't
start
you-
over in
Hold
Destiny,
on.
you're a crazy person.
No, but multiplayer. Like,
Oh.
It's pretty, yeah, only multiplayer.
Brendan,
Yeah.
aren't you like super into Final Fantasy Online?
Yeah, but
Wow.
that's not fighting people. Unless I'm doing PvP, which I was doing a lot of today.
I have never met someone who played Final Fantasy 14.
Oh, dude, you have no idea.
He was so dedicated. He was playing on what was it, the Japanese server?
Damn.
No, I was playing on the Chinese server.
Chinese server.
No, of Monster Hunter Online.
Oh,
no,
because it was
I thought-
only.
Oh, yeah, because I was only
I thought you said you were
Exactly.
playing. Oh no, you were just playing on one server and you got transferred to a
Yeah.
different
Oh,
one.
yeah,
so
yeah.
you
I was
could-
playing on a Japanese server for Final Fantasy 14,
Thank you.
and I.
That's what I said.
Yeah, and I was able to get through the entire thing, like through Heaven's Ward when it came out, by myself, and I had to learn everything from trial and error.
You're like,
I
fuck
pissed
guilds,
off
right?
a lot of tanks. Let me tell you, and healers, I'm sure, but the tanks, I'm sure I pissed off a lot of as a black mage. But getting in the way of things I shouldn't have, and not knowing the mechanics of raids. But yeah, now I'm on an American server, and it's
a whole new
a
world.
whole new world. But at the same
You
time,
can read things now.
yeah,
Speaking of playing on different
oh,
servers,
trolls.
I was thinking, because I was reading about the Korean servers for Overwatch, well, the Asian server,
Okay,
and I was like, I should just fucking learn Korean and go play on the Asian server.
you're gonna get ripped apart.
You're gonna get destroyed.
but that's the thing, is they're more competitive.
So you want that?
That's my problem, is yeah, it's
Oh.
hard to find teams on American servers where
Right.
everybody's
See-
trying.
Because a lot of times people are just like,
There's so many throwers.
yeah, they're just so convinced to play, DPS, and they won't play. So you're locked into playing supporter team
Right.
because you start the game and like 3 or 4 Koreans just lock DPS. You're like, oh, I guess we're
Well,
playing
just
one
play
of
a
these
Zen.
games.
You can kill people with 2 hits, sometimes 1, depending on who they are.
Right, yeah.
Like,
That's if you want to be the guy that's killing people, sure. But if you want to be the guy that's like supporting your team best, you can't play
Zen-
Zen when you have to go solo heals, for
Yeah.
example.
And that's
I
usually
have-
my impact.
it's hard, but it's a lot of shift.
Yeah.
The
How
PvP
much
is
shit
a
did you
lot
get
of
from your
shift.
team?
I don't know. I don't really talk to people.
Oh,
I don't do voice chat at all. I play
oh,
Overwatch.
do you play on PC or?
Yeah, PC.
Oh, okay, never mind.
That's one of the few games I play on PC is Overwatch.
Well,
Because I don't play too many first-person shooters,
Ah,
so everything's on PS4.
I'll
Right,
think about
if
that.
you're not playing a shooter, I mean, obviously, he's like PC Master Race
Oh,
over there.
okay.
He's like the slogan for it.
Well, I play everything.
But
I know
but
you do play
stay
everything.
PC.
Yeah, I would say
It's like the difference is if like if a game is released on PS4 and PC,
And
you're
PC.
gonna buy the PC version
Yeah.
99 times out of 100.
Yeah, that's fair because it's like I like to be able to make it my own controls is like the big thing, and then two, it's frame rates. Like I'm
Exactly.
a total frame rate whore on that.
No,
I
no,
know
I will-
graphics are not my thing. Like I
Same.
don't care at all about frame rate graphics as long as it feels good.
Well, see,
So-
for me, it's like I spoiled myself by getting a 144 hertz
I
monitor,
get it.
and when you start
Yeah.
like seeing that, it's like 30 frames starts looking like
Dude,
stop motion. At
He
times.
sounds like such a bitch when it comes to like if his frames dip under 60, he's
Yeah.
like, oh, this is ugly.
Yeah,
Jeez.
I'm like, oh, I was like, I'm hitting like 55, and Miguel's like, what? And I was like, yeah, I usually get 90.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I do have that's the too 1 millisecond refresh. That's the way
I've always been the opposite because I used to back in the day. When I used to play League of Legends with you every once in a great while, Brian. I was playing on a Chromebook or a netbook.
You can do that?
No,
You can run League on
no,
a TI-82.
you have never. So I
Physically,
would,
I didn't know it was possible.
no, I was running at like when my computer's running really well, like 20 frames a second.
Nice. There you go.
Dude.
Yeah, but after like a month of me playing this and burning my computer, I would like 10 frames a second. And I just got used to playing like that,
But
right?
20 frames on a notebook
See, that's what
is
Ryan did.
impressive.
They optimized the shit out of that game so it could be
It
the
couldn't
biggest
work.
market possible.
But that,
Anybody
well, mind
can
you
play
though,
Interesting.
mind you though, how long ago was that, Brian? Like 4 years ago?
Dude, it might be even more optimized.
Well, no, it wasn't optimized then. That's the thing. Like,
No, but I mean, the way they made the game, it wasn't optimized as in they fine-tuned it. It was optimized in they made the models really low poly, and it's not hard to render. It's made to run so easily that anybody could run it on whatever shitty computer they
It's
have.
definitely a very simple. And this brings me back to the first time you played on my PC, and you saw.
I was playing Vindictus on your PC,
Vindictus,
right?
and you were just like, "What the fuck?"
I'm just like, this is so smooth. This is like,
yeah.
This is a thing?
it made me, after not playing that game for a long time, my character's like level 20, and after I played on your PC, I went and got my guy up to like level 45 in 2 days. Like, it just made me want to play it again. All right, so we're coming near the end of the show. We only have a few minutes left, so
already?
yeah, I know, right?
Jeez.
So let's if everyone has anything to shout out, let's go ahead and do that. It's an old school thing from my last show, but we're gonna be wrapping up real soon here.
So Brian's a guest, we should probably give him the most time, right?
So
I'm sorry, is it 2 hours or 1 hour?
Oh, do we have 2 hours?
Oh,
it was only 1 hour. I mean,
but can it be?
Yeah, do we need to fill an hour? We can do that.
do the other show after? I mean, what's going on, Rach?
It's up to you guys if you want to do it.
Hey, Brian, do you want to do another hour?
I'm here with you guys, though. I'm just chilling.
Nice. Yeah, he's on his couch. He's having.
He's like,
I'm here.
yeah.
Right,
You're here until your phone. What percentage are you at, Brian? This is very imperative.
I charged before I came on at
So he's good.
You're at 66%.
From a full charge, and he's already in an hour. He'll be
Yeah.
fine.
Another hour.
It's
All
almost-
right.
Yeah.
Well,
All right then.
Cool.
Change of plans.
Change of plans. Instead of shout-outs, I have no idea what we were talking about before because my shitty gaming computer. Not even a gaming computer.
It was not a gaming computer.
Not it. It was a netbook.
It was.
It was barely
it
a
was
computer.
It was a college student. Let me write this paper.
Yeah.
Barely
No, but yeah.
functionable.
Like might delay your inputs when you're typing on Word.
That's what I was about to say. Like, it would sometimes, like, I'm typing my paper and I get onto the third page and I go to, like, bolden some font and it would be like, not responding.
Everyone's had that.
The notebook's just like, hey, let me tell you something, buddy.
I remember-
heard the story of Darth Plagueis the Wise.
See, I remember I was trying to play Team Fortress 2, which I'm not a TF2 guy at all, right? But the first time I ever tried to play it was on my netbook, and it was the choppiest. I couldn't play TF2 on it. That's how you know it's not...
2006.
That's comparable, though. That's very comparable. Like, TF2 is an easy to run game, but it is a little
They did up
demanding.
it. But I played TF2 on an Asus tablet that was like $100.
Whoa,
But you
tablet?
Yeah, the Windows tablet
Oh,
by
yeah,
Asus.
that's right.
But it's like, it's integrated, of course, and it's like, I think it's a Cherry Trail processor. And but like throwing it on
I
low
don't even know
res,
what the hell that is. That's
It's well, you can tell by my face it's not very good.
lower than Bay Trail.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, and it worked. Like,
Lord.
but to be fair, I was also able to get Skyrim running on low res on there.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
So we're gonna take a quick break, and you're gonna hear from some of our sponsors here at chaoticradio.com.
Ooh.
We'll be back in the second hour with Bryan Baker from Game Attack, Screwattack, and Rooster Teeth. Basically, all of your internet needs, and we'll be right back.
Probably looped it. So,
Pull up Overwatch.
I have the.
I should have. I have a tiny laptop right now
Yeah.
by GPD. I don't know if you've seen it. It's
We-
like
we,
yay big.
I'm not sure if you heard her.
3
have
minutes.
Yep.
I have a really nice. I love Asus. You got the logos.
Yeah,
But
that's my motherboard and my PC. is
Nice.
Asus.
I have a Republic of Gamers.
Oh, nice.
Big old
Yeah.
fancy dual
Oh.
cooling fan system in the back laptop.
Nice.
We're still live, by the way, on YouTube. No, it's just one of those things like
So-
over because we have an app, Chaotic Radio, and you can just download and listen to. But like right now, everyone who's watching on YouTube, all 6.
I've got Borderlands, their theme song coming back in.
Nice.
Is that good?
Yeah, that's good.
Borderlands 2.
Searchers get a movie from this contract going out for the end of the show.
Cool.
Cool.
Nice. Yeah,
Cool, yeah.
that's good. Both those sound cool.
Okay, she took us down.
Hmm?
So I said, okay, she took us down, so I can't be flashing gang signs or anything.
Well, they can still hear you.
They
They just can't see you.
Well, we don't have our
Oh,
mics.
mics are muted, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they can't hear anything. But you probably should not pull your junk out.
It can come back at any time. Oh, that was a pun I didn't mean to make. Somebody who's never done this before.
Yeah, I don't even talk to people. And, like I said, I don't play games, so I don't even talk to people when I play things. So, it's all new to me. I love it.
Speaking about gaming laptops, have you seen the new crazy 1 gigabyte?
No, the only one I've seen is the Razer that opens and folds into 3 screens.
That's something great.
That's beautiful.
It has 2 1080s in it,
Why?
like actual
It's
1080s.
a 985.
2 power bricks.
What?
This thing.
What's the laptop?
It comes in a Pelican.
What's the laptop? Oh, it's,
It has a mechanical keyboard.
oh, it's like a gigabyte. Yeah, I think
And it has
It was.
You can just get rid of that and put your mouse there.
You know what bothers me about my laptop though is the touchpad is really good. So when I'm playing like Overwatch, it sits about right here. So like my sometimes like this is like one right here with the table. I don't think
Well,
I
they
don't
have an obvious photo, but or the physical
They
copy.
probably is though.
See what crazy touchpad.
I have
Oh, the current?
yeah, it has like the script that's like a touch screen.
Yeah.
It's massive. No, they gave me one for my school.
Okay.
And it's like this big.
It's like a phone.
And I hate maps. So like usually it's like
We're peaking now with views.
how many
8 currently, but I don't know how many people are viewing over the other. Very well possible.
Singing along isn't just accepted, it's encouraged. Encouraged. Just, not too loud. Thank you for your cooperation. ChaoticRadio.com.
And welcome back to the second hour of the Kinda Gaming Show.
Yeah. Talked a lot about comics.
It's mostly good.
Yeah, we're fumble dicking around it, but
That's a fun word.
we're mostly fumble dicking.
Yeah, did you practice that?
Brian, you knew we went off for a bit, right? Like, you were just sitting there like, oh, okay.
Okay. And as before, we're joined by Mr. Bryan Baker, the wonder of the internet. I do believe your beard deserves your own T-shirt, by the way, or deserves its own T-shirt.
It doesn't already have one?
Does the Bryan Baker beard have a T-shirt?
I mean, there was one point where there's a Screwattack member doing political coordination. He made a small run of beard shirts. I have one in my possession. But I thought you can go to the Rooster store tonight and pick one up. I think I feel like we're going up that ladder to get something in the store.
Yeah, make that happen ASAP.
Yeah, have it happen ASAP, and then one of us will get one. And one of us four. I mean.
One?
Oh, all of us will get it.
Thank you.
All of us will get four.
All of us will get it, and we'll all just wear it on the show next time.
Each
I
of
keep
us.
thinking you were saying my name, though. Our names are so similar.
Brendan
Really?
and Brian.
Brandon Bader.
Brian
Bryan
Bader.
Baker.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But it's the way you say his name. Too.
Brendan?
Yeah. Like,
Oh, so I don't know why I started saying that, but that at work one day, have you ever seen, this is kind of obscure, but have you
You're
ever
gonna tell
seen
me the
Night at the
origin
Museum
story?
2?
I never knew the origin story of this.
Yeah, so Night at the Museum 2, volume, or whatever, right? So there's that character who's played by Jonah Hill, and his name is Brandon, but in the show he's all like, no, it's Brundon. It's actually pronounced Brundon, and he's telling Ben Stiller that, and he's like super dickish about it and like over the top. So when I met him as Brandon, I just started calling him Brundon for no reason really.
we walked up to the studio and you called him that, and I was like, was that Brandon or Brendan?
Yeah.
Like the two normal names. I didn't
Brendan.
hear Brendan, and then he introduced himself to me, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, that's why I don't let Andrew introduce people
Yeah.
for me.
Yeah, make sure to always do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever we hang out. I think, have I ever introduced you to anybody before?
Only that one time.
That one time?
That one time.
Oh, you know, Andrew. That one time.
Oh yeah, that one time with
One
your
time.
pants off.
Yeah.
Did I introduce you as Brandon or Brundon?
I probably Brundon. I rarely hear you say Brandon.
You introduced me as Canner many times.
Canner.
Yeah. Which
You're just Miguel.
also,
Good.
it's probably confusing for some people like who start playing video games with me because my name's Genghis Connor,
Did you
that's
say it's
funny.
Genghis Canner?
That's funny.
and then they see the KHANR and they're like, oh, Canner, okay.
Yeah, you don't get a name. You're just
Good.
Miguel.
No, I would prefer that.
You can try to. I don't even know how you would say it.
Yeah,
Like, how would
exactly.
you mess it up?
Miguel.
Miguel.
That's exactly what people say.
I was thinking of Miguel.
Miguel.
Ooh, oh, I like that one. That one's kind of cool.
People who don't know how Hispanic names work call me Miguel.
No way.
Miguel.
Yeah.
What are they?
Really? People have actually said that.
A lot more when I was younger.
Like,
I
that's
think
surprising because it's such a common name. You think?
I think
people
since
would
the
start-
Brazilian guy became really famous, this is the pop singer,
Mhm.
it became common knowledge how to pronounce it.
Seal? No, I'm just playing.
How big is this?
Yeah.
How big is this text?
What can I throw at him around here?
So, did you guys, this is totally random now, but during Shark Week, there was this promo, and it was just like, no seals are safe. And had the artist seal there, and he got eaten by a shark.
That's funny. That's
Nice.
funny.
Yeah, I'm really into punny humor. As
Oh, it's my
someone-
favorite. As someone who was a skipper at Jungle Cruise for 5 years, or 2 of those 5 years, I appreciate puns more than most people.
Exactly.
Glad to know I'm in good company.
So, Brian, what games have you been playing lately? I know we kind of talked to... I don't know.
I don't think it's changed in the past hour.
Yeah, you hit him on that.
Oh, I did, didn't
He
I?
opened.
That's right. But that was like an.
There's one more I didn't mention earlier.
Hey.
For a long time I was one of the big kids who bought the EA Sports stuff every year.
Oh.
Okay.
I kind of got off in college, and then this past winter, they're doing like the EA like holiday sale stuff for half off. They had a FIFA for $30. Yeah, this was the first year they had their like actual like story mode in it.
That's right.
Whatever, I'll check that out. I'll probably get my money's worth just playing through that. And it was alright. The story's very telltale in that you think that you can choice, but it's all very linear at the end.
Okay. I love the Telltale games.
Besides that, like I started doing my own like little single creator person career mode. That was December. It's now August and I'm still playing it, so
Oh, yeah, you got your money.
I mean, I'm still playing Dark Souls 3 and Bloodborne.
Yeah, I mean, as someone who plays the MLB games every year without fail, putting
So a bad
hundreds
person.
in. What do you mean a bad person? MLB The Show is a great series.
You're not a bad
It's
person.
like the
You're just bad
only
at being a
series we're
person.
talking about.
Yeah, because I guess
There's
since
RBI, you
2K
can play-
stopped. Oh, RBI.
You
Oh
can
my
play
God.
RBI. I mean,
You don't
you're
like
missing
RBI?
out.
It's not good.
That's
you
funny
know.
from
Okay, so MLB The Show basically dick slapped the RBI series
Ooh.
this last game because they just put in a classic mode, just the game mode, which is the entirety of RBI baseball.
I know that was my biggest selling point when I was at GameStop. When it came out, it's like you can get this one, or you can get this one and this one.
Exactly.
How do you feel about old school Tengen?
Tengen?
Yeah, like on the.
I was thinking about.
Yeah, right on the NES.
I don't think I've played that one.
Like you try with one player, you move your entire team.
Yeah, and you actually. I was recently playing with my older brother on that. We were just, throwing down on some old school Tengen, and I forgot that you guys actually get fatigued and start screwing up,
Oh, that's
and
cool.
blew a 7-point lead.
Jeez.
Yeah, the pictures actually do get tired.
Yeah,
Off like your pictures.
That's super cool.
yeah, and it's on the NES. It's
Wow.
it was working back then.
So the oldest baseball game I remember playing is called Super Baseball 2020 on the Sega Genesis Super Nintendo. And it was really cool because every 3 innings they would just add stuff. So like after 3 innings they would put mines on the field,
Oh Jesus!
That sounds like a game.
and or you could play as robots.
They really
And
lowballed the future with that one. 2020. They're like, yeah, we'll have them, like.
Hey, we
yeah,
still got 3 more
baseball.
years.
There was
Just
what was
wait.
it? Fight TV, Smash TV. What was it? Fight TV or Smash TV?
Smash TV.
Smash TV. Okay.
Smash TV.
Yeah,
It's a
it was
great
like
game.
in the year 1999, man has gone tired with current present entertainment and must now kill people. Something like that.
We were going to become savages really rapidly.
When did the UFC start?
That was
Like 96. Yeah, like
Mid-90s?
96 or something like that.
So we were already halfway there
Yeah,
I mean, kinda.
in a way.
in a way. I mean UFC, I don't know. In terms of that's like the
It's like pit fighting for
yeah,
kids.
that's what I was gonna say. Like UFC is the closest thing that we have in terms of like mainstream things. That's like barbaric. I could be wrong. I really enjoy UFC 2, or as well, I should say. Though UFC 2, the game is very good. Brendan doesn't do sports.
I don't do sports.
Me neither, except for old school.
Oh yeah, John
John
Jones,
Jones.
man. Goodness
That guy.
gracious.
Okay, bro, he cheated his way to titles if they're going to be barbaric as you want them to be.
Why do they keep letting him fight? Well, I mean, he's done now.
I
right?
mean,
like,
no, and not necessarily. He can still get suspended one more time after this.
oh my god,
But that being said, they could suspend him up to 4 years.
just age him out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Well, so Ken Shamrock came back after being
What?
an old man.
What?
A while back. Not recently, but it was a while back.
Yeah, exactly.
He came back and got his ass whooped. It was weird.
Oh,
Well, I mean,
Jesus.
when you lose a fight, you still make a
Yeah.
lot of money.
Well, not as much in the UFC as in like boxing, for example.
Oh,
His
speak-
name pulled a lot of money.
Okay,
That's true, huh? It must have been a big
so
one.
this transcends everything.
Oh.
This Saturday,
Yeah.
you guys already know what I'm
I was
talking
about to
about.
mention it.
McGregor
Oh, yeah.
versus Mayweather. What a stupid fight.
They did lower the glove size. They're down to 8 ounces.
Really?
Yeah, they ended up.
Are they trying to give McGregor any kind of a chance.
Well, McGregor said that, and then Mayweather was like, "Let's go for it."
Wow, that's surprising. Mayweather never like has any give for like
No, he's
things against him.
So to fill in Brendan just slightly.
No, I know exactly. I'm just trying to hold my tongue because my opinion on UFC is kind of
Because right now,
That's
Oh.
fine, dude.
well, listen
Yeah.
to UFC.
No, it's
boxing. Well, either way, there's gloves involved with fighting, and I don't think that's really cool. Like, I don't think there should be rules in fighting in general. That's
Part
just
of
my
it's actually
personal
for the
take.
protection of
Yeah.
the hands is what
Well-
it really is. Yeah. Like in the UFC, those gloves they really don't.
They're not much at all.
They're not gonna pad your face.
Exactly.
It's
So what
literally, it's
happened?
literally just to protect your hand, the boxer's hand or fighter's
It's
hand.
so like
So
when
you
you
don't
punch
break it.
somebody, you don't break your finger, and then the fight's over. 'Cause
Yeah.
you can't.
Yeah.
And then you're
The
out
fight's
for
over.
a long time.
I don't.
Yeah, but how lame would that be? You paid $100 to go see a fight, and it was ended
It's
by
not
middle
about
finger
you,
being
Andrew.
broken.
It's about the
Or
fighters.
pinky.
Exactly, it's about the fighters.
Well, because
That's just my thing. I just don't like sports. In
So you
general,
want to go see like I don't know what it's called, bare knuckle boxing over in
No.
like Blackpool or
No, I'd
something.
rather see street fighting.
Hey, those fight stuff.
You want to
No,
go?
like
you wanna
a
go
prison
fight some people in
fight.
the parking lot?
Yeah.
No, I don't want to fight them. I said I'd rather watch them.
You want to go watch me fight some people in the park?
Sure, yeah, that'd be awesome. No rules.
He's like he wants to fight Andrew after all the stuff he's been saying.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Yeah, you can watch me fight.
I'm the least violent person here. I have no competitive spirit. That's why I play single player games.
Fair enough.
There's no way that McGregor is going to win on Saturday. I mean, he has the same fighting chance any fighter does. He could get lucky, but he got outboxed by Nate Diaz.
Mm,
What do you mean?
not really. I think the damage is what the case was, because McGregor got a lot of shots on Nate Diaz, but he underestimated how much he could take was the deal.
Oh, Nate Diaz is a punching bag.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't know how much Nate Diaz could take. He definitely outboxed him, but Nate Diaz sustained all that damage and was still at full energy at the end when he dealt damage to McGregor. That's why he won on decision.
The question is,
It wasn't okay. Even if you think that McGregor outboxed Diaz, it was still close.
It was.
And Diaz isn't a world class boxer. I mean, as much as I don't like the way he fights, but Mayweather is one of the best boxers of all time.
yeah, like the thing about Mayweather is like it's not so much you have to like worry about who's gonna hit who harder. It's you've got to play with Mayweather and how he basically controls the fight where he's like, okay, I'm gonna hold you now, so they call it a reset and we have to say so and then start over. And he gets his quick jabs in here and there, and he's fast, so he gets multiple hits and wins by decision. So it's
most of his fights are wins by decision.
yeah.
He's got no, actually no. He's 26. 26 of them are knockouts. Almost, but 23 are decisions.
Yeah.
That's a lot of times that
He's a turtle.
That's a lot of the times the judges have said, "Yeah, McGregor. We give it to McGregor."
You mean
Not
Mayweather?
McGregor. Mayweather. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's
It goes by the amount of hits landed and attempted and all
Uh-huh.
that. So, and he lands his.
so he's done 50 fights, right? Because the
I think
Pacquiao fight was the
You're 51 for Mayweather.
I believe there's a 51. He's going for a 50-0 record because he's 49-0-1 technically, but nobody counts the one because that's that Pacquiao fight, right?
Yeah.
Which was dumb. That's the dumbest thing ever. I hated that.
Do you have a horse in this race, Brian?
I'm very casually pay attention to I really call them combat sports
Uh
that aren't like preterm glitters.
I love WWE.
huh.
I could have a whole hour on WWE with you, but I don't.
Oh, we could easily. If there's a big fight that other people are watching, I will kind of pay attention to it. But I know people that I see the ground game in UFC, and I don't quite like the nuances of it all. Like don't really appeal to me.
I understand. I get that. It's not for everybody.
Half guard, full guard, and trying to get position to get an arm bar or like a ankle hold of some variety.
Right.
And just the strategy of stuff I just don't quite get. So I don't really watch a whole lot of it.
Uh-huh.
I understand the significance of Mayweather and McGregor. I think the Diaz McGregor, that was like a year ago, wasn't it?
I'm not sure, to be
I
honest
think it's
with
been
you.
longer
It's been a little while.
because he never.
The
The
first, like, UFC, like, the first, like, full card that I sat there. Also, was back in that CM Punk got assassinated?
No, we watched the CM Punk fight at at a party. Was it your birthday party?
No. What's that?
I think it was your birthday party, man. And because I spent the night up there, and we watched the CM Punk fight, and it was very disappointing. People who hadn't watched UFC ever, like just casual wrestling fans from 10 years ago, all of the nerds came to watch the UFC fight, and that just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Everyone was rooting for CM Punk, and then he just got his ass kicked in like 4 minutes.
Yeah.
It was not another Brock Lesnar.
No, there will never be another Brock Lesnar.
You don't know that.
There has not been an athlete that has been that good at dual sporting since Bo Jackson.
I don't know what the fuck that is.
Every other man besides Brock Lesnar doing the shooting star press.
Exactly. Brock
Good
Lesnar
point.
has to get custom gloves because his hands are bear paws.
Yeah, that dude's gigantic.
You know what's funny
He
though?
eats bricks and shits out houses, Miguel.
Wow, he must have an interesting stomach.
What's funny though is he's he's big, but he's not the biggest, not by far in his class.
Oh yeah. Speaking of big fighters, I don't know if you know, it was a K1 fighter, Shimmy Schultz.
Shimmy Schultz, I've never.
That dude's gigantic. He's
Did you show me a picture of him or something? Because I remember that name.
I believe it did. I think I showed you the fight with him and Badr Hari, and it was he's a big guy. Type in that's not him right there.
That's a DJ.
Do a K1 fight. There, let's see. There, that's it. No, that's him right there.
Yeah, that one.
That's actually him fighting Badr Hari right there. And he's a big guy. He's like 6'8" or something like that.
Anyway, so games.
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 Do we want to go back
Speak my language.
Kind of.
Yeah.
Boxing is a game.
I mean, I'm actually on the Super Nintendo Classic. One of the games I'm most excited for is Super Punch Out.
Interesting.
That's
I love the Punch Out games, man.
See.
They're so well made.
I'm skeptical, simply because on the NES Classic there was a slight delay and you had trouble.
Oh
at the
God!
end. Just barely, and it made it almost impossible to beat Punch Out.
whoa.
I was about to say, out of all the games on the list, so I'm just gonna go through the games on the list for anyone who doesn't know. Super Mario World, Super Mario Kart, Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, F-Zero, Super Metroid, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo Edition. I think there's so many fucking Street Fighter 2s.
It's not the
Super-
one with everyone.
Street Fighter 2 for that makes sense.
It's not the final one. It's because it doesn't have Cammy in it. It's because the Japanese one has. Yeah, there's Street Fighter 2 Turbo, and then there's another one. This is the one that was more popular
Wasn't
in
there
America.
legitimately like a Super 2 Turbo Rainbow Edition or something?
Something like that. There's another one after.
Oh, is that hacked? Okay.
Yeah, it's Rainbows, but I'm saying it's another one that has there was another release, and it wasn't as big in America. Yeah,
Turbo was the final.
it's I remember looking at it online. The Japanese version of the Super Famicom has all the characters like Cammy, but this one does not.
So, like I said before, Super Punch Out, Super Castlevania 3,
Oh,
That's fantastic.
Donkey Kong Country, Mega Man X,
Yes.
Kirby Superstar, which I love that game.
No, it's
so much.
excellent.
Final Fantasy 3
Hell yeah.
/6, if I'm correct, right?
Hell
Yeah,
yeah.
6 in Japan.
Kirby's Dream Course, I'm not as
That one.
familiar with that one.
Oh
That's a
my
good one.
god.
It's great.
That one's good.
Star Fox, Yoshi's Island,
Yes.
Super Mario RPG, which is amazing. One of the top viewed videos on the Ubercrit channel, which we run, is it is. It's like that has like almost 2 grand views.
Because the
Oh,
Mike one
look
has
at you.
20 grand.
No, I know. I said it's one of the top, not the top.
But I don't.
It's definitely the highest Let's Play
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go.
by far.
Mhm.
Contra 3, the Alien Wars, Secret of Mana, Earthbound, Super Ghouls and Ghosts, and the big one that they're marketing is Star Fox 2 is getting its very first ever release on a console.
Yeah, it was in production, never released before.
So that's really cool. Out of all of them, like I said, I'm really excited for Punch Out. If you got your hands on this console, for a lot of people, this is probably one of the best ways to play Earthbound. I mean,
Oh,
I know
yeah, excellent.
Earthbound is released on a lot of virtual consoles, but
Yeah.
it's a really good deal.
It is a great deal because a lot of people they're not realizing like okay legally like if to get these games legally it would be hundreds of dollars to get this collection going.
More than.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, if you're talking about the physical?
Yeah, if you were getting it's like 800 to like $1,000, but
Well, that depends on
The
on
seller. If you're going to
not only the
GameStop,
seller, but it depends on if you want it in box or
That's
not.
true. The status.
Like if you're just getting it loose, like
Even-
I think
even
Earthbound loose is like $100.
Yeah.
Mario RPG is.
Oh, remember we went to that shop and they had a Super Mario RPG in box sealed.
Still wrapped.
Oh,
It was
wow.
300 was it?
It was $300.
Jeez.
So
I mean, it's a good game, but
oh, it's great, man.
Yeah.
but you know, Chrono Trigger's better.
Yeah, I think it's crazy that Chrono Trigger.
Well,
There's no Chrono Trigger on the list. There's no Turtles in Time.
I'm
Which okay,
very
Turtles in Time.
confused as to Chrono Trigger though.
See, Turtles in Time I get because licensing.
Right.
Okay,
Chrono
but
Trigger, they have Final
they
Fantasy.
have Final Fantasy, and they have Super Mario RPG.
I mean, I said I would
which
buy
is
this if it had two games,
But,
Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy VI, and it has one of them, but
did you ever play The Secret of Mana?
a little bit. I didn't play too much.
It's really good too.
I know it.
I mean, I know it's not Chrono Trigger, but I mean, personally, by the way, I like Super Mario RPG better than Chrono Trigger, but I still think Chrono Trigger is an excellent game.
I also like Super Metroid better than most of those games on that list.
The one I do not understand at all though is Donkey Kong Country 2.
Really?
What is that?
It's not on there.
Huh?
Donkey Kong Country 2 is not on there.
Oh.
Donkey Kong Country 1 is, but
Oh.
not 2. And then
Interesting.
like Mario All Stars is another one.
Is 2 the Double Trouble one?
2 is the one where you play as Dixie and Diddy. It's
That is on
Diddy.
Super
Dixie and
Nintendo.
Diddy.
Yeah, it is on Super Nintendo. It's not on this classic.
So the one that's on
Oh,
there
I
is
see
that
what
the
you're saying. I
Baby
see what
Kong
you're
or the hell his name is?
No, that's number 3.
That's 3. Okay.
Yeah,
That's the one I played.
it's called Diddy's Quest. Diddy Kong's
saying. Diddy
Quest.
Kong's Quest, yeah.
And it's Dixie and Diddy.
Yeah,
and
that's a
it's
golf
not
one.
on the Super Nintendo Classic. So that for me, I was like, why? Like, I mean, I get they don't have Rare, but it's Donkey Kong. So
Andrew pulled up the info for Kirby's
Kirby
Dream Course and he
Course.
made a face like, what?
It's a golf game.
No,
Like-
dude, we're gonna play the fuck out of this game.
Yeah.
And you're gonna love it.
All right. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't. I guess I doubt you a little bit. Actually, I don't know, man. So, did any of you guys enjoy Mega Man Soccer? Was I the only one?
I never even
Probably.
knew that was a thing.
I don't think I played it.
You like?
Was that a meh or a yeah, Brian?
It was a chuckle.
Oh, exactly.
I thought like it totally didn't make sense, but it was fun. It was a good game. I don't, whatever. You guys,
Moving on.
you're right. You guys are just like, no, fuck that, man. But yeah, like,
You're talking about like games on the SNES Classic or that didn't quite make the cut.
oh no,
That's the kind of game for you.
That's like of the games. That's one.
Would that make
no,
or break it for
honestly, I would probably, if I had to think of one that I wish could be on here, it'd probably be Final Fight.
you? Okay.
Fun.
Probably Final Fight because the initial SNES it was only Hagar and Cody.
Yeah, that's true, but
The Super Star Wars
They didn't
series.
even have like all three on the SNES.
yeah, I mean, you're
Final Fight they did Final Fight Guy, which swaps Cody for Guy.
I mean, Guy's awesome too. It's just one of those. I owned it as a kid, and I think it's a fantastic game. I love beat 'em ups.
I feel the same with like the Super Star Wars games. Like all three of those.
Oh, dude.
Oh my goodness, I played the shit out of
Those are
those,
good.
and I love them. I'm wondering whether at least one of them isn't on here.
You know,
could be licensing. Didn't they just for one of the special editions for Battlefront? Didn't those games come with it? The Super Star Wars games.
It was if you got the console, the Darth Vader console. It came with 5 games. One of them was the Jedi Starfighter, which was only on Xbox, the original one
Mhm.
at the time. I think
I'm pretty sure it came with Super Star Wars.
it did come with one of the Super Star Wars games.
So is it possible that either EA or Sony own the rights to that game right now, and that's why it's not on
Could
here?
be, but it also could be Disney doing their Star Wars thing.
yeah.
You know, they do a lot of things with Star Wars.
It's true.
You know what's another weird one? But I guess because a lot of people don't like it, but then at the same time, a lot of people do is Pilot Wings.
Oh, Pilot Wings is really good.
I like it. Yeah, some people think it's not great. I've heard a lot of people say that, but that's not on here. Like that's all Nintendo.
Yeah.
Like it just seems weird. There's some games like that. It seems weird that they're not there, especially when because they brought it down to 21 games, and on the NES Classic it was at 30.
I'm wondering why it's so small, like the collection.
Yeah, it's kind of
It's
disappointing.
interesting.
Yeah, it's still like I'm still excited for it. Like, can't wait to get my hands on it and play all these games. These are all great games. It just came off as weird. Like they're like, not only did we make it smaller, but there's like some very glaring omissions.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I will say though that the games they did select, there wasn't anything that they put on there aside. I mean, I've played Kirby's Dream Course, so that one kind of sticks out to me as one that maybe shouldn't be on there. But I could come around to it. All the games that are on here though, there's not one they're like, well, why is that on there?
Yeah.
You know,
That's
all of them are regarded as classics.
Yeah.
So at least in that regard, they did a good job. There wasn't any filler.
What's that bottom one down there? I can't really see.
This one,
Yeah.
Super
Super
Ghouls and
Ghouls.
Ghosts.
Oh hell yeah. Okay, never mind. We're good.
AKA 16-bit Dark Souls.
Exactly
basically.
right.
So just doing a quick Google search, I'm looking to see top best SNES games, and
It's
And you saw Turtles in Time.
I did. That's
Yeah.
actually a good one that they probably could have put on there.
Zombies
Zombies Ate My
My
Neighbors.
Yeah, that was multi-console though too.
It was also multiplayer.
Yeah, that was great.
Maybe
I was actually when I made a dream list that was on there with Zombies Ate My Neighbors. I played a lot of that as a kid.
You know, it might have been one. Oh, I guess we're not seeing it though. Rampage.
Yeah. Oh shoot.
I would have loved
I
it.
remember
There's a lot of
Rampage
different versions of
64.
that though.
I
Yeah.
have more fond memories of 64 than
I
I do.
remember more
The PS1
Rampage
version.
NES.
I played.
Oh yeah, the
Oh
arcade.
yeah.
That's the one. That's one I have more.
Was it put on
familiarity.
NES?
I believe so.
I didn't know it ever made it to NES.
I know there was the arcade one where it looks
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah.
I played it in the arcade. I played
The
the
PS1.
I
That
played
version was very much like arcade.
the Super Nintendo one. I played the 64. We rented the Nintendo 64 one because that's all you needed.
Yeah. You know what's funny is the local video store. I didn't own Rampage for the 64, but I would just go rent it every so often.
Same. Same
Oh, that's
here.
a good one.
When I was younger and I would during the N64 era, I would go out and rent Mario Tennis a lot. I don't know what it was, man, but Mario Tennis on N64 was so good.
You were weird.
You're the weirdest
Oh, what?
person, Andrew.
Mario Tennis is a great game.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
You can hear it. You can just.
Wow.
Wow.
Damn.
You know that there's with Pokemon Stadium, you even had a transfer pack to get your Pokemon off your Game Boy cartridge into the 64 game.
Yeah.
You can also use that with Mario Tennis to get your career mode kit off of your cartridge into the 64 version, so you can play with your little GBC.
Oh, that's so
Wow,
cool.
that's really cool. I didn't know that. Thanks for hitting us with some knowledge, man.
Yeah, we were all children in this time. This dude was like a full on like consumer already.
Did you just
right?
assume his age?
I mean,
I have
It's
no
assume
idea.
Your age.
Yeah, what? Take a guess.
Probably after the Super Nintendo era.
When was Super Nintendo released? It was
92?
92, just
Or
barely.
maybe 92. That might be a couple years after.
I know we had one because I had an older brother. He was born in 1990.
I was born in 1990 as well.
Ah, okay.
I'm 93,
Me too.
92.
92.
Oh, okay.
Brian, are you like? I feel like you're like in mid 80s, like 85, 86.
Nice, good year.
Nice. See, I wasn't that far off.
See, but you were like, did you just assume his age? And
Oh, and I did. I just assumed his age.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Nice.
So I guess while we're on the subject of like this, obviously, I mean, the next logical step would be an N64 classic, right?
But they're supposed to.
So the thing, I'm thinking they will, but they also just filed patent on the reissue on the N64 controller.
Really?
Yeah. So by that, since they've now done Super Nintendo, there's the idea that they'll probably do N64. I'm hoping they at least go up to GameCube.
Well, if they have the 64, as long as it has Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, we'll
Yes.
It's so good.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was a great one. See, the thing is, it's totally plausible for them to go up to GameCube too, because the processor chipset, that whole board that's in the NES Classic, is stronger than the Wii.
Right.
So,
But I mean,
They
if the
could use the
library
same thing.
keeps getting smaller with each
Right.
version, like how many games would be on the 64?
15.
I mean,
Yeah,
yeah,
right.
with
Yeah,
with
for that.
the already limited size.
Well, also,
well, because they could always add more.
there's
flash
more
memory, so.
No,
licensing issues with the N64,
Yeah.
right?
I mean, of the library of
Like-
64.
Oh yeah, because there's only 295.
Oh no, there's only like 100, dude.
It's like 295.
Hold on. Do you,
Let's see, because I guess
Brian?
the
Can
60
you
million
hit
units
us
sold.
with some more useless knowledge? How many N64 games were released?
there. I'm gonna take the over.
You're
No,
gonna take
dude.
me over. Oh,
296. I was right there.
Wow.
Damn.
Blown
Did you
away.
say? Oh.
295 is what I said.
Jeez. Did you do your research before you came in?
I didn't know anything that we're going to be talking about before I
Like,
came
did
in.
you like Google like video game facts?
Right.
No.
You just remember it's like arbitrary shit.
Nice. I do too, but
I'm
about
like Tyrion Lannister. I drink and I
Right.
know things.
exactly. There you go. I
So-
do too, but nah, I wasn't like prepared. I know things about in-game story elements, like Dark Souls lore,
Oh, yeah.
Bioshock story.
I know some of that too. It's like, I don't know, I just grab things and my mind's like, yeah, this is
I feel like
useful
this
someday.
is that.
Get you.
So your pick to be on the N64 Classic would be the first game you'd want on there?
Yeah, I grew up with the PlayStation when that came out, which was a year before, and honestly, in my opinion, better. So yeah, 64 pretty much had Racer, and that was what I was drawn to.
Nice.
There are some very like the Nintendo 64. I feel like is even more obvious because of how limited it was in
Yeah.
library. The classics stand out. You know, obviously GoldenEye's on there. Obviously, original Smash Bros is on there. Obviously,
Man, have you
Super
tried
Mario
playing the original
64,
Smash Brothers recently?
Ocarina.
Yeah, I
It
played
is
on
not
my
aged
I
well.
played on my phone sometimes.
What original Smash?
Yeah, it is
Actually-
so slow.
No, it's surprisingly you can be fast at it. I went to that retro game.
I was there with you when we played.
Yes, those dudes that we played that wrecked us, they made it look so like modern.
Yeah, I know, but most of the time, like maybe it's because we're not
'Cause we don't
competitive
know
with
how to
it,
play.
but it just after playing stuff like Brawl and the new one, it's just so slow. And it's I don't know what it is. Like when you jump, it feels like you're on the moon.
I think that's what makes it good to play with touch controls on a phone, is because it's slower.
That makes sense.
I don't think I've played it in the past 10 years aside from on a cell phone.
Yeah. So I'm really hoping. I don't think they will be able to because of licensing issues, but I really hope they can get WWF No Mercy.
That was actually, I did play that.
That's what you were thinking, Brian?
Yeah. It was,
It's so good.
It is.
Still to this day probably one of the best wrestling games ever released.
I remember that.
Where there's modding communities still updating it to like this year's rosters.
Wow.
Right?
God
It,
damn.
it is. The story mode's great, and it basically took everything that WCW and NWO Revenge did and just made it better.
You know what's one? I don't think it's going to be there. But then again, Microsoft is like really cool with Minecraft and like updating everyone else on it.
You want Conquer?
Conquer.
Oh hell yeah.
Conquer's bad for a day.
Okay.
That was another one I was gonna
Yeah,
say. Conker's is
But they
definitely-
sold it's actually right when Satoru Iwata took head of Nintendo. It was like in the first 3 months of him being there, they sold Rare, and
Damn.
yeah,
And we see how that turned out.
they stopped making anything. Like when Ukulele was made, the devs
Oh,
there, yeah,
Poor JonTron.
one of the jeez, yeah, one of the devs who was part of the Rare team, and he was one of the art designers for Banjo-Kazooie and all that. He said that they had him making jerseys for soccer games,
Interesting.
and he was like, "This is not what I do."
Well, let's go back to ukulele for a second. Why did that do so bad? Everybody was so
Because-
excited, and then it came out, and it was what everybody wanted.
There
But
There's
it
no
just
marketing.
wasn't bad.
Well, no, there,
I mean, it wasn't
there
good.
was no. So the difference between like a Banjo Kazooie and a Conker's Bad Fur Day versus ukulele is the fact that when you're playing banjo, you have to. Is it feathers you're collecting or jigsaw? I know you
Both.
collect both, but
Both.
the
Jigsaw puzzles
the
are
feathers
ridiculous.
are much
The
more.
jiggies are what build the levels.
Okay, right, and the feathers are what you're just collecting a shit ton of, right?
No.
No, it's not that way.
What? You're collecting something a lot. Is it music notes?
Well, the jiggies you collect, those are like the stars in Mario.
Oh, okay, so let's just say it this way. When you're playing Sonic, you know how there's coins everywhere or
Yeah.
rings.
Rings.
When you're playing ukulele, you're collecting things, but they don't take you to certain areas. So I understand it's an open world game, but there needs to be at least a little bit of linearity to it to lead you to different things.
So
That's the
it
point
feels
of
like
them.
it's useless. Like you're collecting things for no purpose.
Exactly, and they hide them. They
Interesting.
hide them in places that you would never go regularly. And you just to collect one.
But you can say the same about Spyro, and that's fantastic.
Sure, but there's more life in the game there.
Yeah, I love Spyro.
It's ukulele is like they took the exoskeleton from these games and didn't put any of the substance or heart.
Gotcha.
It's a game that looks great. Like if you just look at like a minute of gameplay, you'll probably be fine. But if you play it for yourself, it's just empty. And that's the best way I can describe it.
You know, that brings me to something else, though, which, okay, because I know you haven't, but have you played Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild?
No, I don't have a Switch, but I played a little bit, but I've watched playthroughs of it, so I know
And
how it works.
so here's the thing, like, it's very fun. It's a very good game. Like,
Controls need
it definitely is,
changing.
it definitely is fun, and it's a good game. I would definitely say it's not bad. But
This
there's
is the highest rated reviewed game of all time.
See, that's the
essentially.
thing. That's like, I feel like there's a sense of being overrated. Like, there was a very long wait for it for sure, and it proved to be a good game. But there is a big sense of emptiness with it. Like, you go to find shrines. I ended up collecting every shrine, and there are shrines that are just sort of scattered out there. Like, the thing about it is, there's nothing for you to actually obtain. Like, before it was like, even something as a jar, you only get 4 of in the game before, and it was like, okay, that you got the jar, but then after a certain point in Breath of the Wild, everything becomes just money, and it's like you could buy more clothes or more, just armor and whatnot, and then but then there's like, your weapons are disposable, they break, so you don't really hold attachment to your weapons.
Yeah.
And
That's the part I think should be different.
it's
The way they break, like the rate at which they break, is
Yeah.
pretty insane.
Well, see, you get used to it, so that's like, okay, that happens. That's part of the
But it
game.
should be something you have to get used to.
There's no attachment to the things you're doing.
Exactly. And I love, my Morn's Great Hammer in Dark Souls 3. I would hate if that thing broke on me.
Yeah. And I don't know, it's a strange feeling, like, because when you're saying you're doing things for the sake of going to get them, and that's how I felt with the shrines. Like, it's how can we say?
It's a prestige
It's been like
thing,
half a
like-
year now, so like small spoilers on things of what happens.
Brian, are you okay with it?
I mean, you kill Ganon
So,
at the end, right?
so when you collect all of the shrines, you get the green tunic, Link's original look.
No, it's the wild set. It's the set for this one. He doesn't have.
It's
like,
called the Tunic of the Wild.
Yeah,
and it's the green tunic with the green hat, and then
Right.
lederhosen.
I don't think
And
they're thousands, but okay.
so it's like you got it, and then by the time you have it, it's like, okay, so you either already fought Ganon or you were postponing it for this. There's not like an achievement sense into it. Like, you got that armor and it's the best armor in the game or anything. It's like it matches other ones, and it's like the plate armor is still better that you get immediately in the game. It was a weird sense. Like, I'm definitely not saying it's not a bad game, but it had that feeling. Like, I'm surprised at the praise that it has.
Ukulele is a bad game because it's all that, but it's multiplied. There's a lot of really forced humor in it, and it's like Yuka and Laylee are trying to be Deadpool. They're constantly breaking the fourth wall, and there's a lot of toilet humor in it, which I'm all for poop jokes
Oh, hell yeah.
and dick jokes. But when that's like the entire basis of your entire, like,
You're not saying there's dick jokes in ukulele, are you?
no, I'm just saying like potty humor,
All right.
right? I'm like,
But
when
Conquerors
that's-
is okay.
well, no, it's
Yeah,
written
that's-
better.
Huh?
Okay.
Oh,
It's
okay,
written
yeah,
better.
okay.
And there are things in Conquer that aren't necessarily. I mean, literally, I know you're fighting a giant shit monster
Yes.
at one
How
point.
the
That's
fuck
what I was
is it
thinking
written
of.
better? It's from the 90s.
No,
In the
right?
90s
But
were fantastic.
that's how you know. Like, that's how
Not
bad it is, man. Like, ukulele's not only disappointing in the terms of people who wanted a new open world platformer, but it just fails as a game because the only thing that's good about it are the visuals.
They did spend a lot of time on visuals.
Right? It's a really pretty game. Like, if you just had a poster or a still on your wall or something, totally fine.
It
But
actually has trouble running on Xbox One. That's the there's
of course
frame
it
dips.
does.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's frame dips on Xbox One for ukulele,
I don't know. Like,
especially when fire's on screen.
this is actually kind of a trend. A lot of these Kickstarter games, I think not a lot of them, but
Mighty Number 9.
Mighty Number 9 too.
That's
These games that are
totally
getting
changed.
a ton of money
Yeah.
just aren't good.
Mhm.
There are other exceptions. I think Shovel Knight was a
Oh, yeah, it
Kickstarter
was.
game.
It was crowdfunded.
Yeah, it was. But it didn't, it hit its goal and just went a little bit after. And they focused on creating the game first and not creating all of these bullshit bonus incentives.
And it's
Which I
incredible.
really feel like that was the problem with Ukulele, and that's the problem with Mighty Number 9, is that they were so focused on everything else.
Mighty Number 9 technically did change hands, though, mid-development.
I mean-
Because that's why it went from being a 2D hand-drawn dealio to 3D models and floaty controls.
I
I
haven't.
think it's the mechanics though that break it. You know, like
The
the
Mighty
whole
Number
dash.
9.
Like
Yeah.
the dash mechanic and all of that stuff is what ruins it. It's not really
There's
the
a lot
visuals.
of talking in the game too.
Well, because
Not just that,
when
it's
they
the gameplay.
when they
sucks.
reworked it though to be 3D and everything, that's when they started adding certain things like that to where it's like in 2D it you know sometimes it's really quick, it goes through.
Yeah.
Like you know there's the low kick in Mega Man.
Right. It's like
So.
that didn't come in around till 3, which
Right.
is why I like 2.
But it works.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah.
You know, they build the levels. That's what's really cool about Mega Man 2 is that they build the levels around your abilities,
Mhm.
and so they'll never put something in your way that's unfair. And
Right.
Mighty Number 9 just makes it feel weird.
I haven't played Mighty Number 9.
That's something that comes back to Breath of the Wild is in every Zelda game beforehand it was you unlocked items that you used to get through dungeons, and then you would occasionally use them. So there was like there's always been the problem in Zelda where it's like, okay, I'm never going to use this item again. But then in this one, it was you get, you know, your main, like your
You get
bomb.
the main ones
You
at the
get a-
beginning,
Yeah, you get a couple things at the beginning, and then that's it for the rest of the game.
right?
So.
And you get to sit there and try to manipulate those things.
Mhm. So it ends up becoming like you've seen it already, and you're doing this again. And,
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting what
And
games
it's
are
just,
doing.
I think it's just encouraging you to try to combine, you know, different things and come up with new solutions around things. But yeah, in the same sense, if there's no achievement, like no goal you're working towards in that sense, then what's the point?
Mm-hmm.
But in the same, like I was thinking when you were talking about like open world, not much to do, I was having the thought of like, well, how do you feel about Fallout? Because New Vegas is one of my favorite games.
Yeah.
But then I thought about it, there's a lot of NPCs in there.
There's a lot in there, and every small thing has a point.
Right.
And so like when you come across, you know, just certain things, like I love Fallout, so
Okay.
that's another one that I super enjoy.
I've come around.
You come around.
You
liking
didn't like
Fallout.
it?
I love Fallout 2
Okay.
and Fallout 1.
Yeah, those ones are excellent. That's where I
Fantastic
started
games,
too.
right? When I first played Fallout 3, I didn't like it.
I like New Vegas. 3's okay.
I haven't played New Vegas, but I played Fallout 3 and I enjoy it. I went back because I think it was you who told me I need to give it another chance, Connor.
Yeah.
And I did,
Me or
and
Cody.
it was one of you guys. And I went back and I do think it's a good game. I do think it's a little overrated, but I think it's good. Though that could just be because it's aged a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it might not be the same game as it.
The Gamebryo
Like, I
was
might-
already old when it came out.
Exactly. I might not just see it. I might see it in a different light now than I would have back then.
That was the thing. Fallout 3 was also my introduction to the series, and I hated it. And then I played New Vegas, and I loved it.
New
There you
Vegas.
go. Thank you.
Yeah. New
I
Vegas.
love New Vegas.
I did like 3. I had like 200 hours in 3.
I mean, you have
And
to.
I played all the DLC. Yeah, all that. It was
The DLCs were so much fun
The
though.
DLCs were better than the main game.
Mothership Zeta? I mean,
Yeah,
come on.
Mothership Zeta was fun.
So
Yeah.
good.
Did anyone else play? I mean, I haven't, so not anybody else. But anyone play Fallout Tactics?
Briefly.
I did not.
What is that any good? What
It's
is
just
that?
a tower defense kind of game, like
A tower
asymmetric
defense?
view. It's similar to that. It's kind of like they tried to do it again in Fallout 4 with when you were able to build your camps
Oh,
up.
settlements.
The settlements, yeah, where you were able to build like turrets and different defense things, and they would have bandits come attack your thing. It works better in Fallout 4, but I mean, in the early 2000s, late 90s, it worked.
Are you a Fallout guy, Brian? Where do you fall on the spectrum, man?
I'm one of the guys who tried to give it a chance with Fallout 3, but I have distinct memories of wandering into a town that I was not leveled up for.
Well, that's the funny thing.
Some gigantic ant that kicked my ass.
Well, that's the best part about Fallout is that it's all adaptive leveling.
Yeah.
So you can go anywhere in the entire game, and it's always going to be scaled to what your current level is.
To an extent, though,
Well,
because there are
So it's
zones.
going to be difficult,
Yeah.
but it's still going to be within your level
Because-
range.
No, see, but there are places where Death Claws are just
You
roaming,
can
for
still
example.
kill Death.
You
You can
can.
beat all of Skyrim at level 1.
Yeah.
Like that's how those games are designed. They're phenomenal.
The only drawback I'd say to that is that later in the game you have more to your
Exactly.
arsenal, and
You
that's
got
what makes it easier.
A riot shotgun, you got a combat shotgun that
Right.
somehow snipe people.
Or
It's
you have
wonderful.
ammo is the other big
And
thing.
ammo.
Yeah, like because when you start Fallout, it's like I'm scared. I don't have ammo.
Yeah.
And then once you start knowing how to play the game, like I have
Too much
too much ammo.
And then you play Fallout New Vegas on
On-
hardcore mode, and then
Yeah.
ammo actually weighs something. So
Mhm.
you're like, I need to get rid of this ammo.
See, I think the point that we brought up originally is that Fallout has this big world, and it's full.
And it has
Right.
stuff.
Exactly. So another great example of that is The Witcher 3. It's a huge map, in my opinion, and I just there's a lot of things. There's a lot of stuff there.
It's a lot. See, the thing about Witcher 3 is it just feels alive.
Yes, absolutely.
Like even just the random side quests or like that you thought would be, oh, go grab this.
Go grab
It's
10
like-
pork asses.
Yeah, you do that and you're like, after playing the game and going back, you're like, I actually remember that random guy on the street that I had to go like to the water demons and get his shit back for him.
Yeah, I remember that one too. You ended up going down to the well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, see, I remember that too.
And it's like it actually ties into bigger quests, or saving the guy that was about to be lynch mobbed.
That's what happens when you get a game based on a book series.
Yeah,
It
done
goes out
right.
good,
Yeah.
What do you guys think of the Witcher Netflix series? They're going to be doing.
Interested.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Netflix
yeah.
original with The Witcher.
I think it's crazy to add in that it's technically independent. And,
Yeah.
Right.
CD Projekt Red.
CD
They probably
Projekt Red.
can make their own games.
and I think that goes to say they're doing it as their passion, which is
Right.
kind of what the Mass Effect. Mass Effect 1 was BioWare, and then it got picked up by EA. And you can see
Did they do number 2?
they
They did
did,
number 2, yeah.
but they were under EA for number 2 and 3.
I got you.
Number 2 is my favorite.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like,
100%.
but like when it comes to like the in depth of story and like content that's in there and like
Yeah.
all the what do they call them? Not Crucible, whatever. But just all the lore. There's
The
definitely,
Citadel, but-
you can definitely see that in the first one
Yeah.
a lot more.
No, definitely. Like
Yeah.
the Mass Effect universe between like just even the first game, you're like, wow, I can compare this to Star Wars, like
Mhm.
with the depth. It's
Yeah.
really cool.
And it's like, I feel like the gameplay got better,
Definitely,
but
absolutely.
but it's like the story started coming back a little bit after EA took it. Like it feels like they had to be like, hey guys, make a game now,
Right. Well, I mean, then Mass Effect Andromeda comes out and it's like it's lacking in both areas.
but it's not BioWare.
But it's not.
Andromeda,
not.
so I think we had a little conversation on Facebook about this, Connor.
Yeah,
Andromeda,
the DLC was canceled.
yeah, it's
That's unfortunate
The
because I think it
game-
needed that.
the gameplay I think is good in it. Whether I mean,
Unless
at
you
least
clip
as it
through your
functions.
ship.
I never had that happen.
I fell through the ground many times.
It's one of the like I just feel like it lost its magic compared
Oh.
to the other ones. Like I was playing, I got it to the point where I went on this snow world. Like it was just all snow, and I just met the monkey lion dude. I don't remember his name.
And you freeze when you step outside your ship.
Yeah, exactly. And it was around that point when I finally, I just kind of gave up on it. Like Ryder is not
It's
Shepard.
not Shepard.
No, absolutely not.
No, I don't think Ryder inherently is a bad character,
It is.
but I don't think I played his female Ryder.
Me
I'm not
too.
sure if it makes that much of a difference
Mhm.
in terms of the way they're written. I don't know. Maybe is
You-
male?
your
Did you
romances
play
are
male?
different.
Did you play male Ryder?
See, I haven't actually been playing it because I was waiting for Brenda to go ahead and finish and play.
Did you play
She
male?
did.
Do you? You're not in the Mass Effect
I've
series,
never
right?
played Mass Effect.
Bryan, did you play as male Ryder? Or did you even play it?
Andromeda for Melvin.
Good.
That's the one.
Okay, so I was just wondering maybe male Ryder is just much more charming
No, the
or
thing-
something, but
The thing I couldn't stand about just the writing in general was that the player had no say in it. Like, it gave you the illusion of choice, whereas the first 3 games gave you choice. And this one, like, I'd select something that was nice or neutral. And then my character's voice would be something completely different. It would be, like, angry and change the outcome completely than what I was trying to do.
Well, see, it definitely shows is BioWare, like the actual BioWare, did not make Andromeda. They're working on Anthem,
Oh, okay.
and
Oh, that's good.
The studio that made Andromeda used to would make trees or like buildings and such for Mass Effect, and then EA was basically like, "Hey guys, you're making the entire next game," and they're like, "Wait, what?"
Oh, good.
Like, "Oh,
Let's not fuck it up.
okay, we've never done a big project like this."
Well, I mean, honestly, as a studio or as a segment of the studio, they were probably pretty hyped to do it.
oh yeah, they were probably.
They're the
Well,
B
'cause
team,
you-
just like Dark Souls 2 is the B team of FromSoft.
Exactly,
that-
but at the same time, you have a lot to live up to, and then you fail.
It is in the dev diaries though that a lot of them were like, "Whoa, we're in over our heads."
I don't
Like,
think-
why.
I don't think the people behind Dark Souls 2 feel like they failed.
No,
No,
I'm sure they
I don't
didn't.
think so.
Oh, but,
I-
yeah, probably not. It's still.
I mean, a lot of
good.
people love it. Like, you like it. I
Mhm.
personally don't. I'm not going to condemn you because you like it and I don't.
It,
You know.
it was enough that they made DLC in a third game. Andromeda, they canceled the DLC.
It's true.
Funny thing is, the DLC for Dark Souls 2 was guided by Miyazaki.
Yeah, it was good because it added more story. Let's go to the first thing. It was an awesome thing.
Yeah, he's definitely like the he's the father of Dark Souls.
He's Lord Gwyn.
Yeah.
Disappointing games, man.
Oh, Andromeda.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like it. The other people were so hyped about it. I really think people need to get off the hype train for games.
That's what it always is. It's always overhyped.
That's my reasoning. Fallout 3 will never come out because it's too much hype. Or sorry, not
Yeah, it was like-
Half-Life 3. Sorry, I got Half-Life 3. Sorry, I got stupid.
No,
there.
it won't.
Got brain dead.
Absolutely not.
But yeah, Half-Life 3, it won't because it's so hyped.
When was the last time that Valve made a game?
Yeah,
right?
right.
But I think the hype is
Portal 2?
Left 4 Dead 2.
Oh, I forgot. Like they did Left 4 Dead, huh? No,
Wait,
Portal 2
Portal
was
2 came out
after
afterwards.
They have to wait
Yeah.
another 10.
Yes.
What is it?
But they're focusing on Steam. I don't know if they're going to focus on game development anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know what the
And I
last.
think if anything, like it would never come out just for the sake of everybody wants it. And that's
They're
just kind of
doing-
how Valve is.
They're doing Left 4 Dead 3, right?
Dota 2 was Valve.
Yeah, I knew that
Oh,
one.
that's
Yeah,
right.
they still have that going on.
But that didn't,
That was
yeah.
2013.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
I
that
forgot
was
about that.
Really? Was that recent?
Yeah, right.
And
I think so.
CSGO, when was CSGO released?
That was a mod of originally like
Well,
Counter-Strike in general
Counter-Strike
was a
originally,
mod.
yeah, was a mod of Half-Life.
Wait, is
2,
that?
yeah. Or 1 or 2.
They
But
developed
Counter-Strike
Global
Global Offensive, yeah, was 2012. So
These things were that recent.
I guess maybe they make more games than you think. I mean, I
Well,
don't know.
No,
they do,
they don't.
but it's not like.
No, they don't. They don't make more games than anything. You know exactly what games Valve has made.
But you know exactly what games Bethesda makes. It's like the same kind of thing.
I guess, but that's because they only
They
make
make good games.
2 main series, really.
I mean, right?
I liked
Dishonored,
their game Rage.
Doom. I mean, that's where they have their subgroups
they
like
published
id and
they published Doom,
Right.
but it's like id is still. I
Same.
feel like it's with Rage it was also id,
Mhm.
but it's under Bethesda. So
But yeah, because Bethesda's a publisher as well. There's Softworks
Right.
and Studios or whatever.
ZeniMax Media and
ZeniMax
Bethesda
owns
Software.
them.
Right, but they came from the same person.
But there's 2 Bethesdas as well. There's the developers and the publishers.
Right.
Are you an RPG guy, Brian, or do you not have like the time for like to get into these gigantic games?
I want to be an RPG guy. I'm definitely one of the people who, when Screwattack got his copy of Witcher 3 through Rebel game, I downloaded it and I played a couple play sessions in it before just kind of life got in the way. Which is one of those games where you get away from it, it's hard to come back to.
Right.
I think Mass Effect 2 was probably the first proper RPG I actually finished. I've definitely played my share of games that have RPG elements in them, but there's a lot of the pantheon of RPG games I just haven't played for one reason or another. Like I growing up, I never really had anyone that was like the gateway person into RPGs. Like I actually get exposed to them when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So I feel like I knew they were a big deal. I never really had access to them, I guess.
I'm the same way. As like the oldest sibling in my family. It was kind of like things just have to come in my lap, and I'm like, okay, I guess I'll try this one.
Yeah, I was also growing up. My parents didn't want me to have a console, but they had no problem with me playing lots of PC games. So I had the friends that had the consoles, and I had to play whatever co-op games they had. So I can't tell you about Chrono Trigger, but man, I played some NBA Jam TE and Altered Beast back in the day.
I love NBA Jam. It's so good.
yeah, me and my brother played that on Genesis
Same.
every day.
Genesis. I
Popping those secret codes for Will Smith and Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
I played Space Jam on the PS1.
dude,
That
that
was
game
good.
is so good.
Yeah, Low Gravity. Come on.
Oh my goodness, I played that so much.
Me too.
That surprises me that you played that. I mean,
It's Looney Tunes.
yeah, I don't know. Was your hatred for sports very strong back then, like it is now?
Not as much. I played a lot of sports growing up.
That's right.
I was never a fan of them. It was kind of like my parents put me there and it's like, all right, I guess I'll play some hockey. I guess I'll play
I feel
football.
like there's a big difference though in old sports games versus new sports games because
Yeah.
now they're like a simulator, whereas back then it was still very much a game and it had this like I don't know, a gamey feel to it. Whereas now it's
Yeah.
like you are playing baseball with a controller.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because like the sports games, now they have like the power of the console to give like the hardcore fans who wish they were more than armchair quarterbacks
Yeah.
go lead their team and build it how you need it and everything. So like you don't have to try and hate it or like the people who don't want that as much. They can focus in on this super dedicated group.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know we're coming up near the end of our time. So yeah, for realsies this time. So I know we're gonna do some shout outs real quick. It's something that I used to do on the Overshield podcast I do, and something I kind of want to bring back, see if you want to bring any attention to. So Bryan, before you go, man, where can people follow you, and what do you want to bring attention to, man?
Follow me mostly on Twitter these days. Real Bryan, Real Bryan. I mean, you can see my hands on pretty much anything that Rooster Teeth shoots in their Stage 5 studio. So Rooster Teeth podcast on the spot, on topic, always open, glitch please. Here's what I game fights, heroes and half-wits, relationship goals. There's a lot of stuff we do across their many brands. That's another one. I don't have a lot of shows these days.
All right, super cool, man. So thank you so much for coming on to the very first episode of the Kinda Gaming Show. I know we all love talking with you and just talking some games for a couple hours.
Yeah, super good.
So, from Andrew, Brandon, Connor, Miguel, and chaotixradio.com, we thank you and we'll see you next time.
Good to be able to listen to it.
Is one mic still open? I was like, I see one thing that's not muted.
It's 6.
Did you get the
Oh,
vehicle?
okay. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I did.
Yes. Oh, like, where are the Quarians?
I love that.
Someone was saying I was picking my nose, and I scratched my nose is what I do.
Yeah.
Because sometimes my beard hairs decide they're gonna tickle my nose.
Oh, yeah, live chat, man,
Get that too.
with us.
I don't pick my nose. Like I don't want to be caught with my finger up. in
Yeah,
my
you
nose.
wanna
I
come
go
back
like
and do it
this, but
I want to like get real into it, so it's like yelling. Shit, we gotta get angry with each other. Fuck. We gotta get something.
get all Tourette's-y with it.
To...
Jesus.
All right.
Real.
That was super good. That was a good first
That was
show.
fun. We're doing it again next week.
Yeah,
Every Thursday?
Every
Hell.
Thursday, I guess 8 to 10. I thought it was 8 to 9, but
Also, we always have 2 hours.
I don't know.
You should.
I will.
for
I will.
sure.
I will talk to
Huh?
Rachel.
I say he
That was super.
said 8 to 10, I guess, and I was like, so we always have 2 hours. And he said, I don't know.
I
You
guess
should
that was
confirm
super
that.
chill with Bryan for just staying for another hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was actually really cool of him.
He's a good guy. He's fun to talk to.
Definitely. There's a. Now I listen to a lot of podcasts, so I'm like, I need to get angry. You listen to the Sleepy Cast? Do you guys know what Sleepy Kevin is?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, good.